Chapter 603 CT Chi. Chi. Under Yi Qinfeng's control, the snake's spear attacked again and again, tearing apart the illusory energy hidden in the space, forcibly opening a path to the depths of the desolate space. Read the full text. What's that? As they walked through the slowly drifting gray fog, they vaguely saw a large black expanse in front of them. It gave off an extremely oppressive feeling and occupied a vast area of buildings. Tombs! What a huge tombs! After walking in, they saw that this black expanse of buildings was actually a huge group of tombs that had been abandoned for a long time. It was unknown who had built it, and at the center of this group of tombs stood a black stone tablet that was dozens of meters tall. The words were a little blurry, as if it had been through countless years. Such a huge group of tombs, there must be an unimaginable fortuitous opportunity inside. He Shi Tuji's eyes were shining as he looked at this group of tombs. He couldn't wait to charge in and snatch the fortuitous opportunity inside. As for Yu Zhongtian, Mo Huang, and the others, they were also secretly discussing how to snatch the greatest fortuitous opportunity from Yi Qinfeng's hands. Just as they were itching to try, Yi Qinfeng looked at the black stone tablet and pondered for a moment before saying, "I won't enter this group of tombs. I'll wait for you outside. And there's great danger inside." Hearing that Yi Qinfeng had voluntarily given up on entering the tombs, Yu Zhongtian and the others were shocked instead of happy. They guessed why he had given up. "I don't know if there's great danger inside. I just don't have much interest in this group of tombs and don't want to go in." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said vaguely, "I'll also give up on the fortuitous opportunity inside. I won't go in." Ziyin, who was the weakest among them, suppressed his greed and chose to stay. Advertisement. Since that's the case, then we'll go in. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's vague explanation, Yu Zhongtian and the others didn't believe him. But thinking that this group of tombs might be hiding a great, fortuitous opportunity, they still decided to take the risk and go in. In the end, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wuang worked together to break through the restrictions at the entrance of the tombs. Together with He Shi and Tu Ji, they ventured into the mysterious tombs that were filled with dense yin qi. After everyone entered the tombs, Ziyin did not ask Yi Qinfeng anything. He quietly walked to the side and took out the spirit crystal of death. He quietly absorbed it to nurture the black, withered vine. "Boss, why did you give up on this group of tombs?" "I have a feeling that there's a great treasure inside." The chaos divine beast who had swallowed the 8th grade heavenly beast king crocodile's demonic core and was showing signs of evolving into an 8th grade heavenly beast, asked in confusion. "Compared to the 100 miles of tombs, this black stone tablet is more attractive to me." Yi Qinfeng walked up to the black stone tablet that was tens of meters high. The words on the stone tablet were badly peeling off. "And what's so special about this stone tablet?" The chaotic divine beast didn't sense anything special about the black stone tablet, so it asked in confusion, "If I'm not mistaken, this black stone tablet should be a Tao tablet. It contains Tao intent." Yi Qinfeng's God-Eater brain's power completely radiated out and seeped into the black stone tablet as he transmitted his voice. "Sword puppet, Han Dun, protect me." After saying that, Yi Qinfeng summoned the sword puppet. After giving it some instructions, he sat down cross-legged under the black stone tablet and controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the mysteries of this stone tablet. Tao patterns of death. This is a Tao tablet of death. Under the God-Eater brain's high-speed deduction, Yi Qinfeng sensed 20 Tao patterns of death in the deepest part of the black steel. He confirmed that this steel was a Tao steel of death that contained the Tao of death. God-Eater brain imprint. After understanding the mysteries of the Tao tablet of death, Yi Qinfeng glanced at Ziyin, who had already entered a state of cultivation. He dismissed all distracting thoughts and sat cross-legged under the Tao tablet. He controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce and imprint the Tao patterns of death in the Tao tablet. While Yi Qinfeng was imprinting the Tao patterns of death, Yu Zhongtian and the rest broke through layers of restrictions. In the depths of the tombs, they discovered a blood-stained supreme-grade heaven artifact, spear that had been stuck in a dragon-headed stone tortoise for an unknown period of time. Supreme-grade heaven artifact. Looking at the spear in front of them, Yu Zhongtian and the rest's eyes burned with passion. They all rushed forward to fight for it. In the end, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu, who were slightly stronger than Mo Wang and the rest, managed to pull out the supreme-grade heaven artifact spear. Roar! Roar! The moment the spear was pulled out, terrifying, ghostly cries rang out. The terrifying sound waves reverberated in the depths of the tombs, causing everyone's blood to churn. It was extremely uncomfortable. In the next moment, the dragon-headed stone tortoise that was full of cracks suddenly shattered. Tens of thousands of evil spirits emerged from the tombs, howling as they attacked Yu Zhongtian and the rest. Not good. Let's retreat. We have to leave this place quickly. Suddenly being attacked by a large number of evil spirits, Yu Zhongtian and the rest had a drastic change in expression. They quickly fled out of the tombs. Unfortunately, the tombs were too big and the terrain was too complicated. They were quickly surrounded by tens of thousands of evil spirits within the tombs, and an intense battle ensued. Everyone, don't linger. Use all your strength to break out of the encirclement. After fighting for more than 1 hour, Yu Zhongtian and the rest realized that there was no end to the evil spirits within the tombs. They all executed their powerful Tao skills to kill the evil spirits that were blocking their way and forcefully break out of the encirclement. On my arm. Yu Zhongtian and the rest broke out of the encirclement for more than 2 hours. Xia Liufu, who was severely exhausted, had his left arm bitten by 2 evil spirits. Instantly, he felt the blood in his left arm flowing out rapidly. In the blink of an eye, his left arm withered, and he had no choice but to endure the pain and cut off his left arm. Just as Xia Liufu cut off his left arm and his combat strength was greatly reduced, Kuei, who was the weakest among the group and was severely exhausted, couldn't hold on any longer. Several evil spirits broke through her defenses and bit her body. No. Feeling the blood in her body constantly flowing out, Kuei let out a cry of despair. However, Ying, who was surrounded by a large number of evil spirits, was unable to save her. Yu Zhongtian and the rest, who were under heavy pressure, also didn't lend a hand. Very quickly, the despairing Kuei was annihilated by the evil spirits. Bang! A huge explosion resounded, and the blood in her body was almost drained dry. She was bitten beyond recognition. Kuei, who had lost all her life force, self-detonated her heart meridian and launched her final attack. Boom! The terrifying explosion instantly turned thousands of evil spirits into ashes. It soared into the sky and blasted a huge hole in the hard tombs. Let's go up. Seeing the 10-meter-tall tombs were blasted open by Kuei's self-detonation, Yu Zhongtian and the rest didn't hesitate and quickly flew up, thinking of ways to break away from the evil spirit's pursuit. Finally, Yu Zhongtian and the rest spared no effort to break out of the encirclement. They finally broke away from the evil spirits that had been suppressed by the blood spear for who knows how many years. Kuei's death and Xia Liufu's heavy injuries cast a shadow over everyone's hearts, causing them to not dare to stay in this extremely dangerous tombs for too long. Just as everyone wanted to find a way to leave, they accidentally found a space sealed by a large number of dark lines. In the center of this space there stood a 2-meter-long, pitch-black, mysterious stone coffin that swallowed all light. Readers who want to read the latest chapters of this book, go to the Gathering Cloud Pavilion or visit on your mobile phone. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 604. CT. Stone Coffin. Why is there a stone coffin here? Read the full text of the latest chapter. Looking at the strange stone coffin sealed within the dark mark space, Yu Zhongtian's mind began to work. He had a feeling that the treasure in this sarcophagus might very well be the greatest opportunity in this 100-kilometer-long group of tombs. Yu Zhongtian was very interested in the stone coffin, but Xia Liubi, Shadow, Heisher Tuji, Yu Yiheng, and the others who had lost their left arm didn't want to take the risk. They were very clear that even if there really was an incomparable opportunity within the stone coffin, it wouldn't be theirs in the end. Staying behind would only increase the danger. Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang, we'll leave the stone coffin's opportunity to you. We'll be leaving first. Shadow, who was wearing a silver mask, immediately left with Heisher Tuji, Yu Yiheng, and the others. But seeing Shadow and the others leave just like that, Yu Zhongtian was infuriated, but he didn't dare to force them to stay, so he could only suppress his anger and discuss a plan with Mo Wang and the others. Wu Wang, I believe that you don't want to be suppressed by that Yi Qinfeng and watch him snatch away one opportunity after another, right? The opportunity in this stone coffin could very well change our awkward situation, Yu Zhongtian said in a low voice as he looked at Mo Wang with a solemn expression. I know. Mo Wang nodded. But I'm afraid there's only one opportunity in this stone coffin. Once we're done, how will we split the treasure? If my guess is correct, this stone coffin must be guarded by an extremely ferocious creature. Once we kill that extremely ferocious creature together, we will decide who will recognize the stone coffin as its master first according to the contribution of killing that extremely ferocious creature. Yu Zhongtian pondered for a moment and suggested, That's a fair method. Mo Wang nodded. All right, it's decided. Since you have no objections, we'll rest for a bit. Then we'll work together to break the seal and see what kind of treasure is sealed within this stone coffin. Read the full text of the latest chapter. After saying that, Yu Zhongtian and the others swallowed several precious heaven-grade soul pills and sat cross-legged outside the sealed space, adjusting their breathing to recover. About half an hour later, Yu Zhongtian and the others recovered their exhausted soul force and joined forces to attack the sealed space. Under Yu Zhongtian's, Mo Wang's, and the rest's ferocious attacks, the dark lines in the space cracked and shattered. In the end, the sealed space was finally broken apart by their combined strength, revealing the mysterious stone coffin in front of Yu Zhongtian and the rest. Wu Wang, how about the two of us go open that stone coffin? Yu Zhongtian suggested as he looked deeply at the mysterious stone coffin. All right, Mo Wang nodded, gripping the black, demonic blade in his hand. He and Yu Zhongtian approached the stone coffin. What a terrifying power! What is sealed in this sarcophagus? As they approached the sarcophagus, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Zhongtian could clearly feel an extremely terrifying power emanating from the sarcophagus. This power was so strong that the two of them felt a sense of suffocation. However, both of them had strong hearts of martial arts and were confident that they had powerful trump cards, so they didn't retreat. They attacked the stone coffin with all their strength, wanting to shatter the restrictions on the stone coffin. Their attacks were extremely fierce, but the restrictions on the stone coffin were even stronger. Even after using all their strength, they were still unable to break the restrictions. Instead, they were injured by the powerful backlash. Damn it! How can this stone coffin's restrictions be so strong? Their bitter attacks were fruitless, and they frowned. Helpless, they called Yu Bingyu and the other two over. With everyone's strength, they forcefully broke the restrictions. Uft! Mo Baifeng, who was the weakest among them, could not withstand the shock waves and spat out a mouthful of blood onto the stone coffin. A miracle happened. The restrictions that they were unable to break, even with everyone's combined strength, became weaker and weaker after fusing with Mo Baifeng's blood. In the end, they disappeared. Open! The stone coffin restrictions fused with the blood and vanished. Yu Zhongtian immediately released the earth Tao pattern and the dark Tao pattern, quickly forming the ghost divine claw. He grabbed at the coffin lid that weighed hundreds of thousands of kilograms and forcefully lifted it up. The next moment, black, demonic qi gushed out of the coffin like a tidal wave, bombarding the space, forming a powerful black qi current, causing the entire space to tremble. Stomp! Stomp! Caught off guard, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang were forced back by the black devil qi. Their blood and qi were violently tumbling, and they nearly vomited blood. That is a devil's saber. The black demonic qi gradually dissipated, and Yu Zhongtian and the others saw a 6'6" long demonic saber with a flame pattern engraved on its body and a huge demonic crystal embedded in its hilt emerge from the sarcophagus, floating in the air. Tao artifact. This devil saber is a Tao artifact. The Yu family was a rank 8 sacred ground. Not only did they have Tao artifacts, but they also had Tao artifacts. Thus, when they felt the power released by the black devil saber, Yu Zhongtian immediately determined its grade and became excited. As for Mo Wang and the other two, their eyes were also burning. For tens of thousands of years, there had not been a single Tao artifact in the Western continent. If they could obtain this devil saber, their offensive power would definitely be the best in the Western continent. Fight! Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang and the others all had the same thought. In order to obtain this devil saber, they decided to fight with their lives on the line. Bloodline ignition. Yu Zhongtian roared. Without hesitation, he ignited his bloodline power and transformed into his strongest beast soul form. His right hand held the peak grade heaven tier spear he had just obtained, while his left hand held the high grade heaven tier earth splitter spear. The instant Yu Zhongtian attacked, Mo Wang also summoned the celestial blood skull and attacked. He wanted to suppress the devil saber and wait for an opportunity to make it recognize him as its master. Humans! You are the humans I hate the most. I will exterminate you. Facing the fierce attacks of Yu Zhongtian and the others, a savage and deep voice resounded from the devil's saber. As expected, this devil saber is hiding an evil soul. As long as we exterminate that soul, this devil saber will become an ownerless object. Hearing the savage voice from the devil saber, Yu Zhongtian and the others did not retreat. Instead, they increased their attacks, attacking the devil saber with all their might, trying to damage the soul within the devil saber. Facing the continuous attacks of Yu Zhongtian and the others, the devil saber fiercely counterattacked. Rays of saber light slashed down, shattering their attacks and suppressing them. Bingyu entered the formation. The devil saber's offensive power was too terrifying. After fighting for an incense stick's worth of time, Yu Zhongtian and the others were all injured. Left with no choice, Yu Zhongtian summoned the formation diagram and entered it with Yu Bingyu, borrowing the power of the formation diagram to increase their strength. Mo Wang, think of a way to suppress the devil's saber. Bingyu and I will heavily injure the soul within the devil's saber. After forming the formation, Yu Zhongtian immediately transmitted a message to Mo Wang and the others. Okay, Mo Wang and the others nodded and took the risk to approach the devil's saber, attacking it with all their might, trying their best to suppress it. Eternal silence, millstone. While the devil saber was being suppressed by Mo Wang and the others' attacks, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu's soul power and Tao intent fused together, forming an eternal silence millstone that distorted space and ruthlessly slammed into the devil saber, attacking the soul within the devil saber. Roar! Roar! After being attacked by the eternal silence millstone, the soul within the devil saber was immediately injured, and it let out a painful roar. At this moment, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu did not hesitate to detonate the eternal silence millstone. The terrifying explosive power surged into the devil saber like a tidal wave, further damaging the mysterious soul within the devil saber. Just as Yu Zhongtian and the other four were trying their best to erase the soul in the demonic saber. Yi Qinfeng, who was using the powerful deduction ability of the God-Eater brain to engrave the Tao pattern of death, suddenly opened his eyes. He looked at the trembling tombs in the distance and smelled an unusual aura. Readers who wish to read the latest chapters of this book, please visit the Gathered Cloud Pavilion or on your mobile phone. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to read it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 605. What is going on? What did Yu Zhongtian and the others encounter in the tombs? Why is there such a huge commotion? Yi Qinfeng frowned and muttered to himself. He looked at the tombs with a grave expression. If it wasn't for the fact that the death Tao pattern was too attractive to him, he would have rushed into the tombs to find out what was going on. I don't care. Let's engrave the death Tao pattern on the stone tablet into the God-Eater brain first. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and dismissed all distracting thoughts. He continued to control the God-Eater brain to engrave the death Tao pattern. At the same time, He-Shi, 2G, and the others who had left early were besieged by a large number of evil spirits. They were fighting fiercely in the tombs as they tried their best to break out of the tomb. In order to survive, He-Shi, 2G, and the others constantly revealed their powerful trump cards. They were like extremely sharp blades that constantly tore apart the evil spirits. Slowly, they approached the entrance of the tomb. Everyone, hold on a little longer. We will be able to leave this damned place soon. He-Shi, who was at the front, saw the entrance of the tomb from afar. He was holding the bloodthirsty sky axe and was shouting loudly, "Hold on, I must hold on." After losing his left arm, Xia Liubi's combat strength was greatly reduced. He gritted his teeth and bitterly held on. Just as He-Shi, 2G, and the others were about to rush out of the tomb, Xia Liubi suddenly felt something entangled his legs. He quickly looked down and saw a strange black plant that looked like a vine entangling his legs, restricting his mobility. Just as he wanted to break the vine entangling his legs, dozens of ferocious evil spirits appeared. They howled and pounced at him, tearing his body apart. "No, save me. I beg you to save me." With his legs entangled and his body attacked by dozens of evil spirits, Xia Liubi was in despair. He desperately attacked while crying for help at He-Shi, 2G, and the others. However, at this critical moment, He-Shi, 2G, and the others didn't care about his life. Instead, they took advantage of him, attracting a large number of evil spirits to rush out of the tomb. Boom! There was a huge explosion. Xia Liubi's defense was broken, and he was in so much pain that he wanted to die. He self-detonated and died unwillingly. And what did you encounter inside? Yi Qinfeng was jolted awake by Xia Liubi's self-detonation. He looked at He-Shi, 2G, and the others, who were covered in blood and in a sorry state, and asked, "Sai, this tomb is too dangerous. Both Kuei and Evil Willow are dead." Seeing that the evil spirits in the tombs didn't come out, He-Shi, 2G, let out a long sigh of relief. He sat down on the ground and told Yi Qinfeng what had happened in the tombs. And Yu Zhongtian obtained a top-grade heaven artifact spear from the tombs. You also found a mysterious stone coffin in the depths of the tombs. After listening to Blackstone Earth Pole's description, Yi Qinfeng frowned. He had a feeling that the treasures in this stone coffin were no trifling matter. They were likely even more valuable than the top-grade heaven artifact spear that Yu Zhongtian had obtained at the beginning. Although he might have missed a huge opportunity, Yi Qinfeng didn't regret it. After all, Tao intent was the foundation. Weapons were just external objects. Moreover, the death Tao intent was a very powerful Tao intent. If he could comprehend it, his attack power would increase greatly. After understanding the situation, Yi Qinfeng glanced at the tombs that were constantly exploding. He didn't blindly go in to fight for the treasures in the stone coffin. He continued to control the God-Eater brain to carve the Death Dao patterns on the Death Dao steel. At this time, the battle between Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuang, and the others had reached the climax. Yu Zhongtian and the others didn't hold back in their attacks. The soul within the Devil's Saber was severely injured, while Yu Zhongtian and the others were also injured by the saber lights, especially Mo Baifeng, who was struck by the saber lights. His entire body was almost split apart, and he was thrown several hundred meters away. He had completely lost his ability to fight. Despicable humans, go to hell! The mysterious soul within the Devil's Saber let out an uncontrollable roar. It controlled the saber to attack fiercely. Each saber light was stronger than the previous one, and it was like a rolling tide. Layer after layer was endless. Heavenly treasure, ancient compass. Heavenly treasure, blood skull. Heavenly treasure, demonic needle. When the saber's fatal attack came, Yu Zhongtian and the others immediately summoned their 3 heavenly treasures. Borrowing the power of the 3 heavenly treasures, they resisted the saber lights. Rumble, 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 rumble. After a round of fierce attacks, the saber lights from the saber sent the 3 heavenly treasures flying. The remaining power swept towards Yu Zhongtian and the others, wanting to kill them. Black Devil Venerable Talisman. At this crucial moment, Yu Zhongtian used his final trump card, his greatest reliance. The Yu family had spent a great deal of effort, a large amount of devil blood, and over 10 years to refine the Black Devil Venerable Talisman. A dark, golden ancient talisman appeared on his body. When he spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood essence into the ancient talisman, a terrifying aura spread out from the ancient talisman and turned into a level 3 combat beast emperor demon venerable wearing black demonic armor. The demon venerable swung his fist with great force to meet the attack. Boom! Space trembled. The Black Devil Venerable's fist directly shattered the saber's remaining power, and it continued its ferocious attack. Let's attack together. Borrow the Black Devil Venerable's power to destroy the soul within the saber. A crack appeared on Yu Zhongtian's talisman. He could only use it once, so he put the Black Demon Sovereign Talisman back into his body. Holding the extreme quality spear and earth-splitting spear, he charged forward with Yu Bingyu, coordinating with the Black Demon Sovereign to attack with all their might. Attack! Mo Wuang's group of 3 also appeared at the same time. Their fierce attacks finally suppressed the saber's offensive. Devils, you actually used the blood of my devil race to refine a devil talisman. You deserve death. Facing the Black Devil Venerable's tyrannical fist, the mysterious soul within the saber let out a furious roar. It didn't hesitate to burn its soul to counterattack. Could it be that the soul within the saber and the devil heart that sect master refined came from the same person? Hearing the roar from the saber, Mo Wuang raised his brows. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that the dragon abyss was hiding a huge secret. Time passed quickly amidst the intense battle. Very quickly, for hours had passed. In these 4 hours, Yu Zhongtian's group had paid a huge price. They had all suffered heavy injuries. The Black Devil Venerable that Yu Zhongtian had summoned had nearly exhausted all its energy. It could dissipate at any moment. Furthermore, the soul within the saber was even more exhausted. It was faintly unable to control the saber's attacks. Black Devil Venerable, explode for me. Sensing that the saber's attacks were becoming slower and slower, Yu Zhongtian immediately ordered the Black Devil Venerable to approach the saber and detonate its body to deal a fatal blow. Boom! The Black Demon Supremacy exploded, releasing a destructive demonic power that shattered the space and bombarded the demonic saber at close range. No! Facing the fatal blow of the Black Devil Venerable, the saber let out an unwilling roar. After enduring for 3 breaths of time, its soul was finally destroyed by the destructive demonic energy and disappeared into the saber. Phew, it's dead. We finally destroyed the soul within the saber. Sensing that the soul within the saber had completely disappeared, Yu Zhongtian and the rest heaved a sigh of relief. They all looked at the saber that was stabbed into the ground. They all wanted to take it for themselves. Readers who want to read the latest chapters of this book, please visit the Gathered Cloud Pavilion, mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 606, 220488527. I'll be the first to recognize this demonic saber. Does anyone have any objections? Yu Zhongtian took a deep breath and suppressed the surging blood and injuries in his body. He looked at the pale-faced Emo Wuang, Emo Qianxin, and the rest and said domineeringly, "You're the first, but I must be the second." Emo Wuang gritted his teeth and whispered. Although he had tried his best just now, his trump card was far inferior to the black demon ancestor that Yu Zhongtian had summoned. Therefore, in terms of contribution, he knew that he was inferior to Yu Zhongtian. Okay. Yu Zhongtian agreed without hesitation. Finally, the order of the demonic saber was out. Yu Zhongtian was first, Emo Wuang was second, Yu Bingyu was third, Emo Qianxin was fourth, and Emo Baifeng, who had lost his battle strength and was almost killed, was fifth. Huff! Yu Zhongtian took a deep breath and adjusted his state of mind. He slowly walked towards the demonic saber stuck in the ground. He stretched out his hands and tightly grasped the hilt that was inlaid with a huge demonic crystal and made of special materials. In the next moment, Yu Zhongtian pulled out the demonic saber and broke his palms. Large amounts of blood flowed out and seeped into the demonic saber along the hilt as he tried to recognize it as its master. And Death Dao intent. As large amounts of blood flowed into the demonic saber, Yu Zhongtian immediately felt the Death Dao intent appear in the demonic saber and refined his blood. His face instantly turned gloomy. Dark Dao pattern fuse. Yu Zhongtian had not comprehended the Death Dao intent and could only try to fuse the 20 dark Dao patterns into the demonic saber to restrain the Death Dao intent in the demonic saber. However, the moment the 20 dark Dao patterns entered the demonic saber, Yu Zhongtian could clearly feel a terrifying energy forming in the demonic saber. It crushed the dark Dao patterns and attacked Yu Zhongtian. Bang! Caught off guard, Yu Zhongtian's arms suffered a backlash from the demonic saber and were almost severed. He lost control of his body and was pushed back several meters by the demonic saber. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. "It's my turn!" Seeing that Yu Zhongtian had failed to recognize the demonic saber, Emo Wuang secretly heaved a sigh of relief and immediately walked towards the demonic saber. "Zhongtian, are you all right?" Seeing Yu Zhongtian return with a gloomy expression and bleeding arms, Yu Bingyu asked with concern. "Royal Academy of Languages. It's fine." Yu Zhongtian unwillingly looked at the demonic saber, unable to accept the fact that he had failed to become its master. Earlier on, when the devil's saber tried to bite Yu Zhongtian, Emo Wuang's powerful soul spirit had sensed the Dao intent of death from the saber. Back when he was roaming the Western continent, he was fortunate enough to comprehend 2 Dao patterns of death. Therefore, he was confident that he could get this devil saber to recognize him as its master. Who? Emo Wuang took a deep breath and adjusted his breathing. Then he bit his finger and dripped a drop of essence blood onto the demonic saber. Following that, 2 death Dao patterns emerged from Emo Wuang's body and fused into the devil saber. Dao pattern of death. He actually comprehended 2 Dao patterns of death. Seeing that Emo Wuang had condensed 2 Dao patterns of death, Yu Zhongtian's heart skipped a beat. He had a feeling that the greatest opportunity he had encountered in the Dragon Abyss was about to pass him by. After fusing with Emo Wuang's Dao pattern of death, The demonic saber gradually calmed down and allowed the essence blood to flow into the demonic saber. Seeing that the demonic saber did not reject his essence blood, Mo Wuong was overjoyed. He continued to force out large amounts of essence blood and fused it into the demonic saber. Soon, the demonic saber absorbed Mo Wuong's essence blood and established a connection with him. Low-grade Dao weapon, Sky Demonic Dao Soldier, contains the Dao intent of death. After the demonic saber recognized him as its master, information about the demonic saber appeared in Mo Wuong's mind. Although he was a half-step combat beast emperor and could not unleash the full power of the Sky Demonic Dao Soldier, with it, Mo Wuong had the ability to kill a Class 2 combat beast emperor. Keep. With a thought, Mo Wuong kept the Sky Demonic Dao Soldier in his body and controlled his flames of life to slowly refine it. *CK, he really got the demonic saber. Seeing Mo Wuong keep the Sky Demonic Dao Soldier in his body, Yu Zhongtian's eyes spat out thick flames. He was so jealous that his heart was bleeding. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that his greatest trump card would end up benefiting someone else. Brother Yu, I'm already satisfied with the Sky Demonic Dao Soldier. If there's another great opportunity, I won't snatch it from you. Seeing Yu Zhongtian's gloomy face and his eyes flickering with ferocity, Mo Wuong was in a good mood. All right. Hearing Mo Wuong's words, Yu Zhongtian's expression eased a little. He quickly swallowed an elixir and sat cross-legged on the ground to recover. After about half a day, other than the heavily injured Mo Baifeng, Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuong, and the others had all recovered from their injuries and expended soul power. However, they didn't immediately leave the 100-kilometer tombs that were filled with danger. Under the leadership of Mo Wuong and the Sky Demon Dao soldiers, they continued to search for fortuitous encounters and strengthen themselves. Time passed day by day. Yi Qinfeng controlled the God-Eater brain for about 4 days in a daze. Finally, he engraved the 20 Dao patterns on the Death Dao steel into the God-Eater brain. Legend of the Great Desert 1. After successfully engraving the Dao patterns, Yi Qinfeng immediately calmed down and removed all distracting thoughts. He began to comprehend the extremely destructive Death Dao intent. Once he cultivated the Death Dao intent to the second heavenly layer, his offensive strength would increase by a level. And what's wrong? What's he doing? Just as He Shi and the others were waiting for Yu Zhongtian and the others, they were suddenly awakened by a powerful killing energy. They opened their eyes and discovered that this terrifying killing energy was emitted by Yi Qinfeng. With the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Qinfeng comprehended the Death Dao intent to the first heavenly layer in a single day. At this time, the 8 Shajura art began to circulate uncontrollably. Moreover, it circulated faster and faster, crazily refining the dense killing energy accumulated in Yi Qinfeng's body. In less than half an incense stick's time, the 6th killing halo appeared behind Yi Qinfeng. After another incense stick's time, Yi Qinfeng condensed the 7th killing halo. The killing energy contained within the killing halo had reached a terrifying degree. So the 8 Sha Ajura art's cultivation is based on the Death Dao intent. Only by cultivating the Death Dao intent to the first heavenly layer can the 8 Sha Ajura art be cultivated to the perfection stage. Sensing that he had cultivated the 8 Sha Ajura art to the 7th layer in less than 2 incense sticks' time, Yi Qinfeng finally understood why he had been unable to condense the 6th killing halo, even though he had accumulated enough killing energy in the beginning. With the help of the 7 killing halos, Yi Qinfeng's attack power was greatly increased. However, he didn't know that Mo Wuong had obtained a low-grade Dao artifact in the 100-mile tombs, which posed a fatal threat to him. After cultivating the 8 Sha Ajura art to the 7th layer, Yi Qinfeng calmed his heart and continued to comprehend the Death Dao intent. After another half a day, the heavily injured Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuong, and the others rushed out of the 100-mile tombs. After several days of searching, Yu Zhongtian and the others found a few more fortuitous encounters in the tombs, which greatly increased their strength. However, they knew the value of Yi Qin Feng, so they didn't attack immediately. They also didn't reveal the Sky Demon Dao artifact. After resting for more than a day, they left the 100-mile tombs and continued to fly towards the depths of the desolate space. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 607, 220-48529. This dragon abyss is simply too big. The group followed Yi Qin Feng, breaking through the layers of seals and flying through this desolate space for 3 days and 3 nights. They had yet to reach the end, nor had they encountered any other opportunities. Wait, everyone stop. As they flew, Yi Qin Feng suddenly stopped, sat down on the ground, and radiated the God-Eater brain in all directions. About an hour later, Yi Qin Feng opened his tightly shut eyes, which shone with a sharp light as he looked at a strange craggy rock not far in front of him. "What's wrong, Yi Qin Feng? What did you discover this time?" Seeing Yi Qin Feng silently staring at the craggy rock for a long time, Heisher 2G frowned and asked, "If I'm not mistaken, in these 3 days we've circled this desolate space 5 times." Yi Qin Feng slowly said, "5 times." Everyone grimaced at Yi Qin Feng's words. Yu Zhongtian somewhat angrily said, "Yi Qin Feng, since you already discovered that we were circling around, why didn't you stop earlier? Were you playing with us?" "Yu Zhongtian, you talk too much nonsense." Yi Qin Feng coldly looked at him and rudely said, "As for the reason, I don't need to tell you. Also, don't think that you have nothing to fear just because you found a great opportunity in the tombs. Let me tell you, without me, all of you will be dead." Humph. Yu Zhongtian was enraged by Yi Qin Feng's warning, but he also knew that now was not the time to shed all pretense of cordiality with Yi Qin Feng. He had no choice but to suppress his anger, coldly snorted and said no more. "End advertisement. Everyone listen to my orders. Use all your strength to attack that craggy rock. If I'm not mistaken, that craggy rock is a spatial node. Once we break it, we should be able to leave this space." Yi Qin Feng said as he pointed to the spatial node that he discovered after 3 days of deductions. Yu Zhongtian and the others needed to rely on Yi Qin Feng, but Yi Qin Feng also needed to borrow their strength to deal with the great dangers that could appear at any time in the Dragon Abyss. So, knowing that Yu Zhongtian and the others had ill intentions, Yi Qin Feng could only ask a tiger for its skin. "Attack!" Following Yi Qin Feng's command, everyone unleashed their powerful Dao techniques and bombarded the strange craggy rocks. The endless attacks caused the space to distort and crack. Boom, boom, boom. After being bombarded by the ferocious Dao skills, the jagged rocks shattered into pieces, sending out dense energy ripples. The legend of the desert. Go! Yi Qin Feng didn't hesitate when he saw a spatial rift appear in the center of the energy ripples. He led everyone into the spatial rift and disappeared into the desolate space. The Black Temple. After passing through the spatial rift, Yi Qin Feng and the others found themselves in a desolate grassland filled with stars. In the center of the grassland stood a 10-meter-tall, pitch-black temple that swallowed all the light around it. It was unknown how long it had been there. There must be a great opportunity in this Black Temple. Looking at the Black Temple in front of them, everyone had the same thought. Yu Zhongtian even swore to himself that he would not let this opportunity slip away from under his nose. However, Yi Qin Feng didn't move, so they didn't act rashly. Everyone's eyes shot towards Yi Qin Feng, who had his eyes tightly shut. "Let's go. We're going to the Black Temple." Yi Qin Feng slowly opened his eyes and summoned the golden rock wings. He controlled the snake's spear to tear apart the illusory runes in the space as he flew towards the Black Temple. Statues! So many statues! As they approached the Black Divine Palace, Yi Qinfeng and the others discovered that there was a large formation floating around the Divine Palace, exuding a murderous aura. Within the formation, there were many statues that looked like stars, holding demonic weapons in their hands, all of different shapes and sizes. Although Yi Qinfeng and the others were enveloped by the array and couldn't see what these statues were, Yi Qinfeng and the others could smell a thick aura of danger from them. Come, let's enter the array. Yi Qinfeng hesitated for a moment before leading the group into the somber array. Buzz, buzz, buzz! When Yi Qinfeng and the others flew into the array, there was a huge vibration. The somber array floated from the ground to midair and burst out with earth-shaking power that fused into the black statues. In the next moment, a series of bone-chilling cries of ghosts rang out. The statues, which were as dense as stars in the sky, fused with the power of the great killing formation and came back to life, revealing a large number of ghost generals and ghost soldiers wearing black armor and wielding demonic weapons. They howled as they attacked Yi Qinfeng and the others. Don't slow down. Let's rush over. Seeing the ghost generals and ghost soldiers that suddenly came back to life, Yi Qinfeng, who was in the lead, didn't slow down. He flapped his golden rock wings rapidly and rushed over with the monarch weapon. The sword type and thunder type Dao patterns spewed out their monarch weapons and turned them into extremely destructive thunderous swords. They carried an unstoppable force and directly slashed a large number of ghost generals and ghost soldiers into pieces. As for Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wuwang and the others, they followed closely behind Yi Qinfeng, blasting out one terrifying Dao skill after another, destroying the demon generals and demon soldiers that were surging towards them from all directions, not giving them a chance to get close. Roar! Roar! Just as Yi Qinfeng and the others broke through the encirclement and were getting closer to the Black Shrine, savage roars rang out. More than 10 skeletal bone snakes broke out of the array and hissed savagely, sealing off Yi Qinfeng and the others' path. Male teacher of female students, 8 Sha Azura Art, Eternal Night. Blocked by more than 10 bone snakes, Yi Qinfeng decisively circulated the 8 Sha Azura Art, condensing 7 killing halos. He slashed out the Eternal Night, sword light, towards a bone snake with a long bone mouth that was flying over at an extremely fast speed. The 7 killing powers and the sword type Dao patterns fused together and turned into a pitch-black sword light that slashed forward. In that instant, the world turned pitch black. All the light was swallowed up by the Eternal Night sword light. Only that unparalleled divine sword that could split the heavens and earth was left. Boom! The power of death spewed out by the bone snake was forcefully shattered by the Eternal Night sword light. Its steel-like body was also cleaved into 2 by the Eternal Night sword light. It turned into a large number of white bones and scattered on the ground. After killing the bone snake with a single sword, Yi Qinfeng immediately executed the wind-riding art and rushed past the remaining bone snakes before they could block him. He was extremely close to the Black Shrine. Sky-dancing demonic art. Yi Qinfeng was the first to kill his way out of the encirclement of bone snakes. Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu both circulated the sky-dancing demonic art and summoned devil shadows. They slaughtered the ferocious bone snakes and chased after Yi Qinfeng. Soon enough, more than 10 bone snakes were killed by everyone. The resurrected ghost generals and ghost soldiers were also destroyed by the extremely destructive Dao skills. Their bones and ghost soldiers were scattered all over the ground. Just as everyone rushed out of the Black Shrine under Yi Qinfeng's lead, they were blocked by the restriction that enveloped the shrine. Everyone, let's work together and break this restriction. Yi Qinfeng yelled out and wielded his ruler weapon. He executed his Dao skills and bombarded the restriction at the shrine's entrance. Under the fierce attacks of Yi Qinfeng and the others, the shrine's restriction began to tremble violently. At this moment, the killing array that was operating at high speed surged out a thick death aura and poured into the bone snakes, ghost generals and ghost soldiers that Yi Qinfeng and the others had just killed. In the next moment, these dead creatures that had been killed were resurrected. They let out a hair-raising ghost cry and chased after them with murderous intent. You guys block them. Don't let them disturb me. I'll break this restriction. After failing to forcefully break the restriction, Yi Qinfeng immediately asked Yu Zhongtian and the others to protect him and control the God-Eater brain to break the array. Although they were extremely unwilling, Yu Zhongtian and the others still obediently surrounded Yi Qinfeng in the center and attacked the undead creatures that were surging towards them like a tide, killing them with all their might. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 608. God-Eater Brain, Break the Seal. While Yu Zhongtian and the rest were defending against the undead creatures, Yi Qinfeng controlled the energy of the God-Eater brain and sent it into the seal, searching for an opportunity to break the formation. F***CK, this Yi Qinfeng wouldn't be stalling for time on purpose to exhaust our soul force, right? After resisting with all their might for more than an hour, Yi Qinfeng was still unable to break the formation. This caused Yu Zhongtian and the rest to be enraged, suspecting that Yi Qinfeng was stalling for time on purpose. Although they were enraged, they knew that they had no ulcers. They could only grit their teeth and curse Yi Qinfeng in their hearts while resisting with all their might. Just as the dead creatures outside the Black Divine Temple were killed again and again, they were revived by the power of the Great Killing Array. After attacking without fear of death for nearly 4 hours, Yu Zhongtian and the others were completely exhausted. Yi Qinfeng suddenly opened his eyes. The power of the 4 great spiritual pearls erupted and poured into his right index finger. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng soared into the air and flew to a spot 10 zhang away, pointing a finger at the seal outside the Black Divine Temple. Wang, wang, wang. Under the attack of Yi Qinfeng's 5 million gene index finger, the indestructible seal was pierced through by Yi Qinfeng's finger. A large number of spiderweb-like cracks spread out with Yi Qinfeng's finger as the center. Great Sun, Heavenly Fire, Fist, break. After breaking the seal with a single finger, Yi Qinfeng's body moved and punched out. The blazing fist light directly shattered the seal. So, Yi Qinfeng's body flashed, and he was the first to charge into the mysterious Black Divine Temple. Go. When Yu Zhongtian and the rest saw Yi Qinfeng charging into the Black Divine Temple, they quickly gave up on defending against the undead creatures and rushed into the Black Divine Temple. When the undead creatures that only knew how to kill saw Yi Qinfeng and the rest enter the Black Divine Temple, they did not dare to approach. Instead, they surrounded the Black Divine Temple so tightly that not even a drop of water could pass through. 10 million gene of force, open. Yi Qinfeng landed on the 10-meter-tall door of the Divine Black Palace, which was made of special materials, inlaid with 2 beast heads, and covered with a large number of ancient patterns. Immediately, a force of over 10 million gene burst out from Yi Qinfeng's arms, forcefully pushing open the million gene door. Suddenly, a boundless and ancient aura gushed out from the temple, causing Yi Qinfeng and the others to feel oppressed and heavy. What exactly is in this black temple? Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath. He took out a moonstone and held it in his hand. The moonstone illuminated the pitch-black space. Then he carefully walked in. Walking into the black temple, Yi Qinfeng saw a strange black sarcophagus placed in the middle of the hall that was supported by 48 black coiling dragon pillars. On top of the sarcophagus was an oval-shaped stone tablet with the word seal engraved on it. However, what attracted Yi Qinfeng the most wasn't the stone coffin or the stone tablet, but the incomparably sharp sword tip embedded in the stone tablet. That's the tip of the Emperor's sky sword. Yi Qinfeng raised his eyebrows. With one look, he could tell that the sword tip was the tip of the Emperor's sky sword. Could it be that the sarcophagus is suppressing another part of the demon's body? Looking at the tip of the Emperor's sky sword, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but think of the thing suppressed in the sarcophagus. His delicate face revealed a trace of seriousness. Sarcophagus. Yu Zhongtian looked at the black sarcophagus with a fiery gaze. He guessed that there might be a Tao artifact inside. He immediately sent a voice transmission to Mo Wuwang. Wuwang, help me obtain the opportunity in the sarcophagus, and I'll owe you a favor. All right. Mo Wuwang nodded his head and agreed without hesitation. After speaking, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wuwang walked over slowly, approaching the black sarcophagus that was suppressed by the stone tablet. Wait, don't go near the black sarcophagus. Yi Qinfeng had experienced the terror of a demon's heart before. If the sarcophagus was really suppressing another part of the demon's body, once it was released, it would be a fatal threat to everyone. However, the two of them who had suffered once before ignored Yi Qinfeng's warning. They walked directly to the seal, stone tablet, and swiftly attacked it. Boom! After being attacked by Yu Zhongtian and his companion, the seal, stone steel, trembled violently. A powerful soul-suppressing power leaked out from the stone steel and filled the air, causing dense water ripples to appear in the space around it. Word. Yi Qinfeng didn't expect Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wuwang to be so daring. They didn't even know what was inside the black sarcophagus before attacking. His expression changed slightly, and he immediately stepped forward to stop them. The opportunity in the sarcophagus is mine. Whoever dares to snatch it from me will be my enemy. Having his opportunity stolen time and time again, Yu Zhongtian had long been enraged. Now that Yi Qinfeng had stopped him, he was even more enraged. Wuwang, Bingyu, Qinxin, stop him for me. For the sake of obtaining the opportunity in the sarcophagus, Yu Zhongtian finally shed all pretense of cordiality with Yi Qinfeng. Leave it to me. Myriad transformations, Black Lotus. Mo Wuwang quickly turned around, and the surging Tao of darkness and Tao of death merged together to form a slowly blooming black lotus. With extreme speed, it attacked Yi Qinfeng. The moment Mo Wuwang made his move, Yu Bingyu and Mo Qinxin also quickly attacked, using their Tao skills to attack Yi Qinfeng from both sides, wanting to suppress him together. Extreme Dark Tao. The three Tao skills attacked, and Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the Tao wills to fuse together. The Extreme Dark Tao skill blasted forward, shattering the myriad transformations Black Lotus and blocking Yu Bingyu and Mo Qinxin's Tao skills. With the Tao skills blocked, Mo Wuwang and the other two continued to attack Yi Qinfeng, not giving him a chance to get close to Yu Zhongtian. As for Yu Zhongtian, he seized the opportunity when Tuo Wuwang and the other two were attacking Yi Qinfeng with all their might. He took out a supreme grade heavenly spear and ferociously attacked the soul-suppressing steel. He wanted to shatter it and seize the opportunity within the coffin. Yu Zhongtian, there might be a great opportunity in this black sarcophagus, but there might also be great danger. I order you to stop attacking immediately. Seeing the soul-suppressing steel being attacked by Yu Zhongtian and cracks appearing on it, Yi Qinfeng's face changed slightly and he loudly ordered, "Order me? Who do you think you are to order me around?" Hearing Yi Qinfeng's order, Yu Zhongtian was even more enraged. Not only did he not stop attacking, but he also increased the intensity of his attacks, determined to shatter the soul-suppressing steel. Yu Zhongtian, if you don't obey, don't blame me for being impolite. As more and more cracks appeared on the soul-suppressing steel, Yi Qinfeng felt an ominous feeling in his heart. He was even more certain that there was great danger in the sarcophagus, and he angrily warned. A powerful aura erupted from his body. Yi Qinfeng, You've already obtained enough opportunities. We won't give you the opportunity in this sarcophagus. Yu Bingyu quickly stood in front of Yi Qinfeng and said coldly, "Dragon's bloodline ignite." The situation was urgent, and Yi Qinfeng did not waste any more words. He quickly ignited his dragon's bloodline, increasing his soul power by 3 times, and transformed into a half-human, half-dragon beast soul form. Black Dragon, Heavenly Whip, bind! Seeing Yi Qinfeng transform into a beast soul form, Yu Bingyu quickly took out another supreme-grade, heavenly weapon that she had obtained in the 100-mile tomb. It was a black whip that looked like a dragon, and it coiled towards Yi Qinfeng. Mo Qianxin also took out the supreme-grade heavenly spear that Mo Fengyin had given him, and pierced it towards Yi Qinfeng like a hot knife through butter, wanting to force him back. Heartless Heavenly Tao. 6 Heavenly Tao runes shot out of Yi Qinfeng's body, transforming into the might of the Heavenly Tao. It roared as it blocked the 2 supreme-grade heavenly weapons. Heavenly Demon Tao Weapon, slash. The instant the 2 supreme-grade celestial weapons were blocked, Mo Wuong took out his low-grade Tao weapon, the Sky Demon Tao armament. He slashed out a blood-red saber shadow, which swept towards Yi Qinfeng like a hot knife through butter. Not good. Sensing the destructive power of the crimson blade shadow, Yi Qinfeng did not hesitate to take out the vermilion bird cauldron to block with all his might. A deafening explosion rang out, and Yi Qinfeng was forced back by Mo Wuong's blade. The quasi-Tao artifact, the vermilion bird cauldron, was also almost sent flying. Just as Mo Wuong continued to attack with the demonic blood blade shadow, a large amount of destructive power suddenly surged out of the black sarcophagus, bombarding the cracked, soul-suppressing steel and shattering it. In the next instant, a suffocating demonic aura was released from the sarcophagus. The thing that Yi Qinfeng was most worried about had happened. Remember URL. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 609. 220-52338. Buzz. 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 Seeing the soul-suppressing stone tablet shattering and the terrifying existence suppressed in the stone coffin escaping, the Emperor's Sky sword point that was embedded in the soul-suppressing stone tablet spewed out a large amount of sword Tao power. It penetrated the stone tablet and penetrated the stone coffin, shattering the surging demonic aura and preventing the terrifying existence from escaping. What exactly is in this stone coffin? Yu Zhongtian, who was using all his strength to shatter the stone coffin, saw the boundless demonic aura gushing out and sensed the danger. His expression changed slightly as he stopped attacking and rapidly retreated. Yu Zhongtian, you fool! Do you know that your foolish actions might cause our deaths? Seeing the demonic aura gushing out from the stone coffin and the Emperor's Sky sword point clashing intensely, Yi Qinfeng was basically certain that the other body of the demon was suppressed in the stone coffin as he roared furiously. Yi Qinfeng, what exactly is in this stone coffin? Yu Zhongtian spoke with an unpleasant expression as he had an ominous premonition in his heart. If you want to know what is in the stone coffin, stay behind and see for yourself. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng, who had an unpleasant expression, wanted to quickly leave this black divine hall that was filled with danger. He would think of a way to obtain the Emperor's Sky sword point in the future. Just as Yi Qinfeng was preparing to leave, a powerful suppressive force came out from the top of the black divine hall and sealed the entire divine hall. The suppressive force was so strong that Yi Qinfeng and the others felt suffocated. Sword Tao pattern break. The entrance of the divine hall was sealed, and 40 sword Tao patterns immediately gushed out from Yi Qinfeng's body. They gathered into an extremely sharp light sword and pierced over like a hot knife through butter. After being attacked by 40 sword Tao patterns, the restriction at the entrance of the divine hall only had a slight ripple and didn't show any signs of breaking. If you don't want to die, attack together with me. Everything will have to wait until we leave this place. Seeing the indestructible divine hall restriction, Yi Qinfeng roared with an ashen expression. Boom! When they heard Yi Qinfeng's roar, He Shi, Tu Ji, and the others who felt more and more uneasy in their hearts acted swiftly. They wanted to gather the strength of everyone to blast open the restrictions and leave this place. However, at this moment, boundless demonic qi surged out from the black stone coffin once again, shattering the attack of Di Tian's sword tip. The soul-suppressing stone tablet, which was covered with spiderweb-like cracks, was shattered, and Di Tian's sword tip was sent flying. Ah, the soul-suppressing tablet is finally broken. This sage is going to see the light of day again. Di Tian, just you wait. When I reconstruct my demonic body, I will definitely destroy your inheritance. As the soul-suppressing steel shattered, a cruel and ruthless voice rang out from the stone coffin. In the next moment, the black coffin lid that weighed over 1,000,000 jin was reduced to dust. A pair of pitch-black hands, flowing with demonic light, flew out of the black coffin and appeared in the air, resisting the suppression of the temple. Hands. A pair of hands. Royal Language Academy. Looking at the pair of demonic hands that flew out from the stone coffin, everyone's expression changed. They could smell a strong aura of death from these demonic hands. Just as the demonic hands that had been suppressed for God knows how many years were about to break free, a fist-sized crystal stone that contained boundless power appeared at the top of the temple, which was releasing boundless suppressive force. It immediately suppressed the demonic hands. Heaven crystal, a heaven crystal. Seeing the crystal stone that suddenly appeared at the top of the temple, Yi Qinfeng lifted his brows. He could immediately tell that this crystal stone was an extremely precious heaven crystal. If the sword puppet devours this crystal stone, the Di Tian sword can merge with the sword tip. With everyone's strength, we might be able to destroy this demonic hands. Since he couldn't blast open the suppressive restrictions in a short period of time, Yi Qinfeng had his eyes on the heaven crystal. You want to seal me with a mere middle-grade heaven crystal? Shatter! A ruthless voice rang out from the demonic hands again. It blasted out 2 punches towards the middle-grade heaven crystal at the top of the temple, shattering the suppressive force that was pouring down. Yi Qinfeng, did the demonic hands and demonic hearts come from that demon? Yu Zhongtian and the others, who had witnessed Mo Fengyan, Yu Qinyuan, and the others fighting against the demonic hearts, guessed the origins of the demonic hands. They all looked towards Yi Qinfeng and asked softly, Why? Are you scared? Looking at the solemn faces of Yu Zhongtian and the others, Yi Qinfeng said without holding back, Weren't you all very mighty and didn't listen to advice? Why are you all scared now? After releasing the demonic hands, you all can think of ways to deal with it yourselves. If you can't, then you all can just wait to be killed. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng didn't bother about Yu Zhongtian and the others, who had a gloomy expression. He turned around decisively and charged towards the Di Tian sword tip that was stabbed into the ground. He wanted to obtain it first. Rumble. When Yi Qinfeng got close to the Di Tian sword tip, the demonic hands attacked the middle-grade heaven crystal ferociously. Waves of suffocating power gushed out from the top of everyone's heads and struck their bodies. What are you all waiting for? Let's work together to break the restrictions and leave this place first. Sensing the terror of the demonic hands, Yu Zhongtian was scared. He wielded the supreme grade heaven spear and attacked the restrictions with all his might. Yu Zhongtian and the others spared no effort in launching attacks that were extremely powerful. However, the black divine hall that was suppressing the demonic hands was even more terrifying. It withstood their ferocious attacks and didn't show any signs of cracking. Just as the entire divine hall was in chaos, Yi Qinfeng appeared beside the Di Tian sword tip and took it out. Sensing the Di Tian sword art that was stabbed into the ground started to tremble. It turned into a stream of light and fused with the Di Tian sword. Sword-type Dao patterns. This Ditian sword art is filled with 10 sword-type Dao patterns. When fusing with the Ditian sword art, Yi Qinfeng felt that the Ditian sword's quality had reached supreme grade heaven artifact. Furthermore, he could clearly sense 10 sword-type Dao patterns in the Ditian sword. After successfully fusing with the Ditian sword art, Yi Qinfeng's next target was that middle-grade heaven crystal. However, the power of the demonic hands was too terrifying. Yi Qinfeng didn't go near it blindly and was waiting for an opportunity. Legend of the Great Desert. Boom! 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 The demonic hands attacked ferociously for 15 minutes and exhausted a large amount of the middle-grade heaven crystal's power. It also weakened the suppressive force that filled the divine hull. Yu Zhongtian and the others, who were attacking ferociously, took advantage of the weakening of the middle-grade heaven crystal's power and finally broke the suppressive restrictions. Humans, obediently offer up your life and blood. Seeing that Yu Zhongtian and the others had broken through the suppressive restrictions, the terrifying demonic hands blasted out 2 black demonic palms and smashed towards them like Mount Tai. Damn it! Suddenly attacked by the demonic hands, Yu Zhongtian and the others had no choice but to stop attacking the suppressive restrictions and defend with all their might. Sky Demonic Dao Soldier. I didn't expect that this saint's weapon would be obtained by you. Seeing that the demonic palms he blasted out were shattered by Mo Huang's Sky Demonic Dao Soldier, the remnant soul in the demonic hands let out a savage roar and increased the intensity of its attacks, wanting to kill Mo Huang and snatch the Sky Demonic Dao Soldier. Yi Qinfeng, what are you waiting for? If we all die, don't even think about living. Enduring the ferocious attacks of the demonic hands, Yu Zhongtian and the others felt immense pressure. Left with no choice, they could only seek help from the powerful Yi Qinfeng. However, towards Yu Zhongtian's pleas for help, Yi Qinfeng ignored them completely. At this moment, his attention was completely focused on the middle-grade heaven crystal. PFFF, facing the black demonic palms head-on, the heavily injured Mo Baifeng, whose strength had been greatly reduced, was sent flying. Large amounts of blood spurted out from his mouth. Just as his body slammed heavily into the suppressive restrictions behind him, the demonic hands suddenly tore apart Yu Zhongtian and Mo Huang's attacks. Like 2 strange black meteors, they pierced through Mo Baifeng's defenses and blasted into his body. In the next moment, endless demonic qi surged out from Mo Baifeng's body. The terrifying demonic hands devoured Mo Baifeng's life force and occupied his body, controlling him. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 610. Sword Puppet. Devour the Heaven Crystal. As the demonic hand devoured Mo Baifeng's life and took control of his body, Yi Qinfeng summoned the sword puppet and ordered it to soar into the sky and devour the mid-grade heaven crystal that had fused with the shrine. The moment the sword puppet devoured the mid-grade heaven crystal, the demonic hand that had taken control of Mo Baifeng's body sensed something was wrong. It glared at the sword puppet fiercely. At this time, Yi Qinfeng stepped on lightning and flew over like a bolt of lightning. He shouted, "What are you guys waiting for? Attack with all your might. If we can't kill him, we'll all die here. Damn it, attack." Hearing Yi Qinfeng's shout, Yu Zhongtian and the rest were inwardly furious. But looking at the lifeless Mo Baifeng who was controlled by the demonic hand, they knew that they had no way out. If they couldn't kill the demonic hand, their fate would be as tragic as Mo Baifeng's. Great Demon, slaying Dragon Blade, Mo Huang roared and slashed down with the Sky Demon Dao weapon. The crimson blade light turned into a murderous demonic dragon that slashed at Mo Baifeng's body. The moment Mo Huang attacked, Yu Zhongtian, Yu Bingyu and the rest attacked at the same time. Ferocious Dao skills swept out like a raging tide, facing the ferocious attacks of Mo Wuwang and the rest. Mo Bifeng's hands burned with black, demonic qi. Two unparalleled and terrifying palm prints shot out, shattering the crimson, demonic dragon blade light and the surging Dao skills. The entire space began to collapse. Wrath of God's punishment. Just as the space was collapsing, the three heavenly spirits spat out Yi Qinfeng's body, turning it into the power of God's punishment. It twisted the space, and like a destructive meteor, it smashed towards Mo Bifeng. Boom! When the wrath of God's punishment hit Mo Bifeng, it exploded. The terrifying explosive force spread out, increasing the area of the space collapse. It broke through Mo Bifeng's body's defenses and crazily destroyed his body. 10 directions, Sky Demon Slash. As Mo Bifeng was swept away by the destructive storm, Mo Wuwang ignited the power of his bloodline. Wielding the Sky Devil Dao weapon, he unleashed his strongest attack. A scarlet-red, cross-shaped blade slashed down, tearing apart space as it slashed through the storm of destruction, directly splitting apart Mo Bifeng's bloody body. Lowly humans, I want all of you dead. Mo Bifeng's Dharma body was destroyed, and the devil hand was also injured. The mysterious soul in the devil hand let out a furious roar, piercing through the storm of destruction and charging towards Yi Qinfeng and the others. Boom, boom, boom. A series of deafening explosions rang out. Yi Qinfeng and the others clashed fiercely with the devil hand. Endless storms filled the shrine, causing it to shake violently. Cracks appeared on the hard ground. Puff, puff, puff. Yi Qinfeng and the others clashed fiercely with the devil hand. The destructive power was too terrifying. Zi Yin, Yu Yiheng, Shadow, and the others could not withstand the increasingly powerful shockwaves and were sent flying, suffering heavy injuries. What a strong defensive power. The defensive power of this devil hand is probably at the level of a pseudo-Dao treasure. Looking at the devil hand that was unharmed after taking on wave after wave of destructive attacks, Yi Qinfeng also felt troubled. He had no choice but to ignite his God Dao bloodline and transform into his strongest God Dao body. 20 million gene of strength explode. Yi Qinfeng roared out. The Emperor's Sky, sword that had fused with the sword tip appeared in his hand. Surging energy fused into the Emperor's Sky sword, and it twisted the space around it. The devil hand that was coming at him with extreme speed blocked the attack of the devil hand. Emperor's Sky sword. Why do you have the Emperor's Sky sword? Looking at the Emperor's Sky sword in Yi Qinfeng's hand, the mysterious soul in the devil hand exclaimed, "Who exactly are you?" "The person who will kill you." 7 killing halos appeared behind Yi Qinfeng. The rumbling, killing power, Heaven Dao pattern, Sword Dao pattern, Thunder Dao pattern, and Death Dao pattern were all infused into the Emperorian celestial sword. An unparalleled sword aura surged out and slashed the demonic hand with unstoppable force. TSK. After being attacked by Yi Qinfeng's all-out sword at close range, a deep sword scar appeared on the surface of the 2 devil hands. Streams of black blood flowed out. Eternal silence, millstone. When the devil hand was injured by Yi Qinfeng, the devil shadow behind Yu Bingyu turned into 2 terrifying millstones. They distorted the void and blasted at the devil hand, worsening its injuries. Break! A furious roar sounded. The injuries worsened, and the mysterious soul in the 2 devil hands was infuriated. Its fist shook the universe, and the terrifying attack shattered the 2 eternal silence millstones. Man-weapon union, cleave! The moment the eternal silence millstone shattered, Mo Wuwang fused with the sky demonic Dao soldier. A black, lightning-like saber light cleaved down like a raging sea towards the devil hand. Facing the saber light attack of Mo Wuwang's man-weapon union, The devil hand surged with boundless demonic chi and grabbed at the sky demonic Tao soldier. Boom! Boom! The sky demonic Tao soldier was grabbed by the devil hand, and a series of violent explosions sounded. Not good. It wants to snatch the Tao soldier. Seeing the sky demonic Tao soldier being grabbed by the devil hand, Mo Wuong's face changed. If the devil hand was able to snatch the sky demonic Tao soldier away, it would be a disaster for them. Yi Chenfeng, Yu Zhongtian, and the others also felt the severity of the situation. They all executed their strongest attacks and blasted at the devil hand, not giving it a chance to snatch the sky demonic Tao soldier away. However, the devil hand's defense was too terrifying. It was determined to snatch the sky demonic Tao soldier away, causing Mo Wang to gradually lose control of the sky demonic Tao soldier. The heavenly Tao is heartless. Yi Chinfeng gritted his teeth. 7 heavenly Tao runes shot out from his body and transformed into the might of the heavenly Tao. They roared and blasted at the devil hand. After fusing 7 heavenly Tao runes, the heavenly Tao's heartless attack reached an extremely terrifying level. However, it was still unable to shake the devil hand. As the devil hand exploded with earth-shattering power, Mo Buong's chest shook. Large amounts of blood spurted out from his mouth. Like a kite with a broken string, he fell from the sky and crashed heavily onto the ground. He was severely injured. Sky demonic Tao soldier, I've finally taken you back. You can all die now. Holding the sky demonic Tao soldier, the mysterious soul in the devil hand let out a savage roar. In an instant, its aura exploded to the maximum. The saber slashed down like a mountain. With terrifying destructive power, it slashed towards Yi Chinfeng and the others. PFFF. When Yi Chinfeng and the others combined their powers to unleash their Tao techniques on the Tao soldiers that had been slashed down, a series of explosions rang out. Yi Chinfeng and the others' attacks were all destroyed by the devil hand saber. The terrifying destructive power slammed into their bodies and sent them flying. They were severely injured. After severely injuring Yi Chinfeng and the others, the devil hand continued to attack. It slashed out rays of destructive saber light. It wanted to kill Yi Chinfeng and the others in one fell swoop and devour their blood. At the critical moment, the sword puppet finally severed the connection between the temple and the mid-grade heaven crystal and devoured it. In the next moment, a powerful aura erupted from the sword spirit puppet's body. After devouring the mid-tier heaven crystal, the sword spirit puppet's strength increased steadily. For a short period of time, it possessed the strength of a level 3 beast emperor. With an indestructible body, it stood in front of Yi Chinfeng, blocking Mo Shou's fatal attack. It will be published tomorrow. Everyone can support the original reading. Also, Yunlei will be releasing a picture of Shadow next week. If you want to see it, please add the WeChat public account, YLTY83, or search for Yunlei Tianyu on the public account. Remember the URL. Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 611. When the devil hand saw the sword puppet blocking the sky demon Tao soldier with its body, he was shocked by the sword puppet's defensive strength. At Yen, don't retreat. Attack with all your might, or we will all die here. While the sword puppet blocked the attacks of the sky demon Tao soldier, Yi Chinfeng quickly drank a mouthful of the water of heavenly fate and shouted at the heavily injured Yu Zhongtian, Mo Huang, and the rest. Bloodline ignition. Blood and chi ignition. After the sky demon Tao soldier was taken away by the devil hand, Yu Zhongtian and the rest could smell the thick threat of death. Helpless, they burned their blood and chi power and transformed into beast soul forms to attack with all their might, thinking of all ways to destroy the devil hand. Vermilion bird cauldron, scarlet thunder pearl, destroy. At this time, Yi Chinfeng also summoned his 2 trump cards, releasing the vermilion bird fire and thunder of death. They continuously bombarded the devil hand, worsening its injuries. Damn it, what is this thing? The devil hand controlled the sky demon Dao soldier to attack fiercely for an incense stick's time, but it was completely blocked by the sword puppet's indestructible body. It was unable to harm Yi Qinfeng and the rest at all. Yi Qinfeng and the rest seized the opportunity when the sword puppet was defending with all its might to continuously damage the devil hand. Large amounts of black blood flowed out of the devil hand. Sky Demon Dao Soldier, return! As the devil hand's injuries worsened, Mo Wuong constantly communicated with the Sky Demon Dao Soldier. Through their connection, he tried to summon the Sky Demon Dao Soldier back. Although the Sky Demon Dao Soldier was once Mo's weapon, it had now been refined by Mo Wuong. Under Mo Wuong's continuous summoning, it began to resist the devil hand, greatly weakening its offensive strength. 7 Swords of Judgment, heaven crushing. With the devil hand's attacks suppressed by Yu Zhongtian and the rest, Yi Qinfeng immediately used his killing move. The surging power of slaughter, several great intents, and over 20 million gene of strength fused into the Emperor's celestial sword. A heaven-crushing sword that contained boundless destructive power slashed towards the devil hand. For a moment, heaven and earth changed color and thunder roared. The terrifying heaven-collapsing sword forcefully cut open a bone-deep sword mark on the demonic hand that was as hard as a pseudo-Dao treasure. It almost cut off the finger of the demonic hand. Sky Devil Dao soldiers come back. Mo Wuong continued to summon the Sky Devil Dao soldier. Finally, he managed to summon it back from the devil hand. After losing the Sky Demon Dao soldiers, the demon hand's attack power was greatly reduced. Coupled with the sword puppet suppression, the demon hand was no longer a threat to Yi Qinfeng and the others. 10 Directions Demonic Slash. Summoning the Sky Demon Dao soldier, Mo Wuong infused it with his qi and blood, soul power, and the will of the great Dao. He slashed out a cross slash at the hand, wanting to shatter it in one fell swoop. Seeing that the heavily injured demon hand was about to be struck by the cross slash, demon hand decisively gave up on a head-on clash. Like 2 meteors, they bombarded the cracked and weakened suppression spell. Bang bang! The demon hand's full-powered attack broke through the seal and disappeared into the Black Temple, escaping without a trace. We finally chased that demon hand away. Seeing the heavily injured demon hand escape, Yu Zhongtian and the others heaved a sigh of relief and sat down on the ground, panting heavily. Yu Zhongtian, you bunch of idiots, from now on, we'll go our separate ways and have nothing to do with each other. Yi Qinfeng looked at the fearful Yu Zhongtian and the others and said with some annoyance, Wait, Yi Qinfeng, I know that I was a little impulsive just now. Although Yu Zhongtian was unwilling to follow Yi Qinfeng, after witnessing Yi Qinfeng's heaven-defying methods, he knew that he still had to rely on Yi Qinfeng. Thus, he spoke up helplessly. Fine, you guys can follow me if you want, but you have to give me that Dao tool. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about. Yi Qinfeng stared coldly at Yu Zhongtian and the others and demanded an exorbitant price. Yi Qinfeng, don't go too far. Hearing that Yi Qinfeng was actually asking for the Sky Demon Dao tool, Mo Wuong's face darkened and he roared in anger. You're going too far. Yi Qinfeng sneered. Because of your ignorance, you released that demon hand and caused us to fall into a predicament. Shouldn't I make you guys pay a price? You! Hearing Yi Qinfeng's words, a terrifying, baleful aura emanated from Mo Wuong's body and locked onto Yi Qinfeng. What, you want to fight? Yi Qinfeng sneered and said domineeringly, Although you've obtained a Dao tool, if I want to kill you, you won't have the chance to live. If you don't believe me, you can try. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's arrogant words, Mo Wuong was about to explode. However, when he thought about the sword puppet's impenetrable defense, he knew that Yi Qinfeng was not just trying to scare him. He truly had the ability to kill him. After intimidating Mo Wuong and the others, Yi Qinfeng did not waste any more words with them. He summoned his soul wings and flew directly to the top of the palace that was engraved with a large number of ancient runes that formed a mysterious diagram. The reason why Yi Qinfeng flew to the top of the palace was because his powerful soul spirit had sensed the aura of a treasure there. When he was about to leave, he wanted to take the treasure. Break! Yi Qinfeng bellowed. 40 sword Dao patterns shot out and bombarded the roof of the palace. They forcibly broke open the concealment restriction on the roof and revealed a white bone that was 1/2 meter long. It contained a powerful dragon's might and was sealed on the roof. Dragon bone! When the 1/2 meter long white bone was revealed, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang's eyes lit up. They never expected that this palace would actually hide a priceless dragon bone. Snatch it! Since they had already shed all pretense of cordiality with Yi Qinfeng, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang no longer had any reservations. They both soared into the sky, wanting to snatch this dragon bone that was enough to drive combat beast emperors crazy. Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang's reaction could be said to be extremely fast. However, Yi Qinfeng was even faster. He quickly unleashed a force of 10 million jin and tore open the seal. He forcefully pulled out the white dragon bone and stored it in the universe mirror. Ghost God's Claw. Great Demon, slaying dragon blade. The moment Yi Qinfeng snatched the dragon bone, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang both executed powerful Dao techniques to attack Yi Qinfeng. They wanted to join forces and severely injure him. Just as the two powerful Dao techniques were about to strike Yi Qinfeng, the sword puppet suddenly stood in front of Yi Qinfeng, using its own body to block these fatal attacks. Merciless, heavenly Dao. In the instant that the sword puppet blocked the attacks, 6 heavenly Dao runes gushed out of Yi Qinfeng's body, transforming into heavenly Dao energy that blasted towards the two of them at close range. Sky Demon Dao Soldier, break! The heavenly Dao energy whistled through the air. Mo Wang ignored the exhaustion of his body and continuously infused soul power into the Sky Demon Dao Soldier, slashing out with all his might. Borrowing the terrifying, offensive power of the Sky Demon Dao Soldier, he forcefully broke the heavenly Dao's merciless heavenly Dao. Wang, the heavenly Dao's merciless heavenly Dao was shattered. A tyrannical sword ray pierced through the void, splitting the sword puppet's body and slashing towards Mo Wang. After fusing with the heaven crystal, the sword puppet's strength had reached the level of a grade 3 combat beast emperor. Its sword was extremely destructive, directly slashing Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang, who were defending with all their might, to the ground. Large amounts of blood spurted from their mouths. You'd better not provoke me again. Otherwise, I'll definitely kill you. Yi Qinfeng looked down at Mo Wang and Yu Zhongtian, who were vomiting blood and were heavily injured. He hesitated whether he should take this opportunity to kill them. However, when he thought of the heaven-defying trump cards that Yu Zhongtian and Yu Zhongtian had, he decided that now wasn't the best time to kill them. He gave up on the idea of taking the risk and flew out of the black shrine with the sword puppet. Wait, I'll go with you. The moment Yi Qinfeng flew out of the black shrine, the tall and slender figure wearing a silver mask, giving off a mysterious feeling, chased after him and left together with Yi Qinfeng. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You'll be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blogs, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 612. The desert was deathly silent, and there was no sign of life. 777777727666F6474777-636CD. Qinfeng and Shadow fought their way out of the encirclement of the undead creatures like a hot knife through butter. They deciphered the illusions in the starry sky and flew through the desolate grassland for about a day before arriving at a crimson forest. Why are you following me? Yi Qinfeng looked at Shadow, who had been following him without saying a word, and asked in a low voice, "Because I feel that it's the safest to be by your side." Shadow said slowly, making it impossible for others to guess her true thoughts. "Is that really so?" Yi Qinfeng's lips curled up slightly. He didn't believe Shadow's explanation. "Other than safety, I feel that I can obtain more opportunities by being by your side," Shadow continued to explain. "Do you think I would give you the opportunity in the Dragon Abyss for free?" Yi Qinfeng said without a trace of emotion. "Yi Qinfeng, don't worry. I won't ask for your favor, nor will I try to win your sympathy. I will fight for my own opportunities with my own abilities. Besides, I believe that I have the ability to do so." Shadow looked at Yi Qinfeng with a burning gaze. "Shadow, you can follow me, but I have a request." Yi Qinfeng said with a playful smile. "What request?" Shadow asked. "Take off your mask. I'm not used to being with someone wearing a mask," Yi Qinfeng requested as he looked at the mysterious Shadow, who made it impossible for others to guess her true thoughts. This. Shadow hesitated when she heard Yi Qinfeng's request. She didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to make such a request. "Shadow, you don't have a choice. If you don't want to, then let's part ways here," Yi Qinfeng said coldly. "All right, I'll take it off." Shadow raised her head slightly and looked at Yi Qinfeng. She pursed her lips and undid the seal on the silver mask. She reached out and took it off, revealing a white, delicate face that didn't match her status. "I didn't think that the eldest disciple of the Dark Shadow Tower, who was feared by everyone on the Western continent, would have such a beautiful face." Looking at Shadow's crescent-shaped eyebrows, intelligent eyes, high nose bridge, and thin red lips, Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile and said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to let you go. Are you satisfied now?" Shadow didn't get angry when she heard Yi Qinfeng's teasing. She looked straight at him and asked with neither joy nor sadness. "Very satisfied." Yi Qinfeng nodded, purposely testing her. He said, "I want to refine that dragon bone here and increase my strength further. Help protect me, then." "Okay." Aang nodded and agreed without hesitation. "Boss, do you really believe her?" Yi Qinfeng walked into the depths of the Red Forest and took out the precious half-meter dragon bone. When he was about to put it into the Suzaku cauldron to refine, the chaotic divine beast's voice rang in his head. "I don't believe her." Yi Qinfeng replied telepathically. "If you don't believe her, then why did you keep her by your side and look at her face on purpose? But to be honest, that little girl is quite pretty and has a hot body. Boss, are you interested in her and want to take her down here to vent your beast?" The chaos divine beast teased him. "I asked her to take off her mask because I don't want her to hide her expression and thoughts. That would be very dangerous. All right, stop talking nonsense. Protect me. I'm going to refine this dragon bone." After that, Yi Qinfeng stopped talking nonsense with the chaotic divine beast. He put the priceless half-meter dragon bone into the Suzaku cauldron and poured the black skyfire into the cauldron to refine it. Suddenly, waves of heat were released from the Suzaku cauldron and filled the void, burning the air and distorting it. When Yi Qinfeng controlled the Suzaku cauldron to refine the half-meter dragon bone, Shadow, who was sitting cross-legged in the distance, closed her eyes after a glance. However, her soul spirit radiated out to sense the movements around her. After more than 2 hours, the half-meter dragon bone was completely melted under the Suzaku cauldron's refinement. The impurities in the dragon bone essence were also burned out by the black skyfire. However, this half-meter dragon bone had existed for too long. More than half of the dragon bone essence had been forcefully extracted by someone. Therefore, the Suzaku cauldron could not extract much of the dragon bone essence. It was only the size of a longan. "Devour." After extracting the dragon bone essence, Yi Qinfeng immediately opened the lid of the cauldron. He sucked out the dragon bone essence that was the size of a longan and as hot as fire and swallowed it into his stomach. Boom! As soon as the dragon bone essence entered Yi Qinfeng's body, it exploded with boundless energy. It flowed through Yi Qinfeng's blood vessels and meridians, destroying his physical body. Immediately, a heart-wrenching pain spread through Yi Qinfeng's body. It was so painful that the veins on his forehead bulged. Cold sweat dripped down his forehead as his body trembled uncontrollably. As the dragon bone essence released more and more energy, Yi Qinfeng's pain grew more and more intense. However, he relied on his unyielding will to endure the pain. He circulated the soul-devouring arcana and the divine 9 transformations to refine the dragon bone essence. As his soul force increased, he attempted to condense the 5th soul orb in his head. If he could condense the 5th soul orb, Yi Qinfeng's physical strength would increase by leaps and bounds. While Yi Qinfeng was hiding in the Crimson Forest, refining the dragon bone essence under the protection of Shadow, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang and the others, who had mostly recovered from their injuries, teamed up to explore the desolate prairie, which was full of dangers, in search of other great opportunities. However, Ziyun was not in their team. Knowing that he was not strong enough, Ziyun gave up the idea of continuing to explore the Dragon Abyss. He stayed in the relatively safe Black Divine Palace to cultivate and wait for the Dragon Abyss to close so that he could be teleported out. Ancient compass, ultimate guidance. Confused by the stars in the sky, Yu Zhongtian and the others were lost in the desolate grassland. With no other choice, Yu Zhongtian could only spit out mouthfuls of blood essence and fuse them into the ancient compass, illuminating it with the ultimate guiding light as he tried to find a way to leave this grassland. After a few days of cultivation and enduring the inhumane torture, Yi Qinfeng had basically absorbed the dragon bone essence. His strength had increased, and his dragon bloodline had strengthened. At the same time, he had faintly condensed the embryonic form of the 5th soul orb. Just his physical strength alone had reached 12 million gene. Adding on the increase in his cultivation level, Yi Qinfeng's physical strength had reached 14 million gene. If I can find a few more dragon bones like this, I should be able to cultivate the first stage of the Atman body realm of the God transformation stage to the perfection stage. At that time, just relying on my physical strength alone, I should be able to fight against a rank 1 combat beast emperor expert. After refining the dragon bone essence, Yi Qinfeng engraved the 10 sword Dao runes on the tip of the Empyrean sword into the God-Eater brain and quickly deduced them. After cultivating the sword Dao to the 4th heavenly layer, Yi Qinfeng's understanding of the sword Dao was already very deep. In less than a day, he had comprehended the 10 sword Dao runes in the Empyrean sword art and cultivated the sword Dao to the terrifying 5th heavenly layer. Let's go! After his strength had increased, Yi Qinfeng let out a breath of turbid air and slowly stood up. He looked at Ying, who was sitting cross-legged, and brought her out of the red forest. Relying on the God-Eater brain's deduction, they quickly went deep into the dragon abyss to search for other opportunities. After around 4 days, Yi Qinfeng and Ying passed through layers of illusions and arrived at a desolate, deathly still corpse mound filled with strange tombs. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 613. Follow me. Don't wander off. And Yen. The eerie wind howled as they flew into the eerie corpse mound. Yi Qinfeng used the God-Eater brain to find that the starry sky illusion power in the corpse mound had disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by an extremely oppressive death power. Okay. Ying, who was wearing a thin white veil, nodded and followed closely behind Yi Qinfeng, walking towards the burial mound that was filled with graves. That is another black temple. Yi Qinfeng led Shadow through the corpse mound for more than 2 hours. He could vaguely see a tall black temple in the depths of the corpse mound. It was swallowing all the light around it. Around this black temple, there was a large amount of black air current floating. It was like a surging tide, sweeping through the space with turbulent waves. The Black Temple. Shadow also discovered the Black Temple. Her face changed. She looked at Yi Qinfeng and said, "That Black Temple will not suppress the other parts of the demon, will it?" "That is possible." Yi Qinfeng revealed a meaningful smile. He looked at her and said, "Why? Are you scared? If you are, you should hurry. You don't want to lose your life there. If you retreat, how can you chase after the ultimate opportunity and the ultimate path?" "If you don't retreat, I won't retreat either," Shadow said firmly. "Okay, if that is the case, let's go. Let's see what is in that Black Temple." After saying that, Yi Qinfeng took Shadow and flew towards the black, godly palace that was filled with strange auras. What a scary death power! The death power in this corpse mound should be 9 layers gathered in this black air. Otherwise, the death power here would not be so scary. When Yi Qinfeng landed outside the Black Divine Palace, he frowned slightly when he saw the surging qi currents enveloping the Black Divine Palace. Although he could not feel the great danger in the black air that was like a big river or lake, the attack power of the black air made him feel a strong sense of danger. "Shadow, do you still want to go in?" Yi Qinfeng turned his head and looked at Shadow, who was wearing a white veil, and asked in a low voice, "Let's not waste any more time. Let's go in." Shadow said in a calm voice. No one could see through her true thoughts. "All right, let's go." Looking into Shadow's fearless eyes, Yi Qinfeng did not waste any more time. He brought her into the black airflow that flowed at an extremely fast speed and swallowed all light. Chi. Walking into the turbulent black airflow, Yi Qinfeng immediately felt pain on his skin, as if countless blades were scraping his skin, trying to tear his body apart. However, after refining half of the dragon bone, Yi Qinfeng's physical strength and defense had increased slightly. He was able to completely withstand the black air current attack. Meanwhile, Shadow's defense was far inferior to Yi Qinfeng's. He could only rely on his heaven-grade battlesuit to resist the ferocious attacks of the black gas as he followed Yi Qinfeng closely. "Well, what's that?" While enduring the attacks of the black air current, Yi Qinfeng and Shadow were like 2 lone boats that braved the wind and waves. After traveling for more than 10 breaths of time, they realized that there was a large number of black balls in the black air current. They crushed the space and flew towards them at an extremely fast speed. Extreme ancient heavenly thunder. Black flame heavenly fire! Break! Dozens of black balls flew over. Yi Qinfeng immediately blasted out the heavenly thunder and heavenly fire to meet them. Rumble, 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 rumble. When the endless heavenly thunder and heavenly fire bombarded the black balls, they exploded. Waves of earth-shattering explosions echoed, causing the black air current to surge violently and rush towards Yi Qinfeng like a tidal wave. Sword-based Tao pattern break. As the black air current surged over, 50 sword-based Tao patterns gushed out from Yi Qinfeng's body and converged into a light sword with irresistible force. It slashed through the air current and went against the flow. Dozens of black light balls were destroyed by Yi Qinfeng. The surging black air current formed a large number of black light balls that flew over and bombarded Yi Qinfeng and Shadow. After being attacked by a large number of black light balls, even Yi Qinfeng's tough, physical body couldn't withstand it. Large amounts of blood flowed out from his cracked skin and dyed his body red. Shadow's injuries were even more severe. The white veil on her face had already turned into ashes. Blood flowed down from her forehead and dyed her absolutely beautiful face red. Her heaven-grade battlesuit was deformed and seeped out with large amounts of blood. Just as Yi Qinfeng wanted to summon the sword puppet to resist the black light balls and kill his way to the Black Divine Hall, he was stunned by the scene in front of him. He saw that outside the Black Divine Hall, there were tens of thousands of black light balls floating and sealing off his path. He had a feeling that if these tens of thousands of black light balls exploded at the same time, even if he transformed into his strongest god-fiend body, he wouldn't be able to withstand the explosive force that was enough to destroy the spatial zone. While he was hesitating, Yi Qinfeng noticed that the black light balls floating around the black divine hall moved. They dragged their black tails and flew over at extreme speed. Not good. Seeing the rapidly approaching black light balls, Yi Qinfeng and Shadow's expression changed at the same time. Yi Qinfeng didn't even think as he quickly retreated with Shadow. Both of them jumped into a hole that was created by the terrifying explosion and summoned the sword puppet. Boom! Boom! The moment the sword puppet used its body to seal the space above the two of them, a large number of black light balls poured down like rain. They poured out the destructive force and bombarded the sword puppet. The terrifying sound was like the roar of a thunder god. It shook the heavens and the earth as it surged in all directions and bombarded the sword puppet, causing the entire space to distort. Feeling the destructive power of the black light balls, Shadow was so frightened that her face turned pale. Her body trembled, and without thinking, she jumped into Yi Qinfeng's arms and hugged him tightly, seeking protection. God-fiend bloodline ignition, God-fiend body. Although the sword puppet blocked 90% of the destructive force, 10% of the force still penetrated through the cracks and attacked Yi Qinfeng's body, cracking his skin. With no other choice, Yi Qinfeng, who was hugging Shadow's hot body, could only ignite his God-fiend bloodline ignition and transform into his strongest God-fiend body to resist the attack. The tens of thousands of black light balls bombarded the black divine hall for more than an hour before gradually subsiding. As for the hole that Yi Qinfeng and Shadow were hiding in, a huge hole that was dozens of meters deep appeared. It was a mess. Let's go. The heavily injured Yi Qinfeng looked at the chaotic space above his head and flew into the sky with the sword puppet. He rushed into the destructive storm and forcefully passed through it, wanting to use this opportunity to fly out of the black divine hall. Shadow saw that Yi Qinfeng did not care about her life and knew that he did not trust her. She bit her lips and ignored her injuries as she followed Yi Qinfeng and rushed towards the black divine hall. Break for me. Yi Qinfeng forcefully passed through the destructive storm. When he neared the Black Divine Palace, he infused his 24 million kilograms of force into the Empyrean Celestial Sword, increasing its attacking power to the greatest extent. As he became one with his weapon, he slashed towards the restrictions outside the Divine Palace. Whoa! After receiving Yi Qinfeng's all-out attack, ripples appeared on the restrictions of the Black Divine Hall. A large number of cracks spread out from the tip of the Emperor Heaven Sword. The next moment, the sword puppet transformed into a sword and struck the spatial ripples. It broke through the restrictions outside the Black Divine Hall and flew out of the Black Divine Hall with Shadow. When they flew out of the Black Divine Hall, a blurry shadow appeared in the chaotic space. This shadow was that pair of terrifying demonic hands. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 614. Huff huff. I finally made it in. #yen. After consuming 90% of the sword puppet strength, Yi Qinfeng rushed out of the Black Divine Palace. His body was severely injured, and his body was covered in blood. He let out a long sigh of relief and sat down on the black stone steps, panting heavily. Shadow, who was even more severely injured, was paralyzed on the ground. Her rosy little mouth was slightly open, and she was panting weakly. Life Tao pattern heal. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and sat cross-legged on the ground. He controlled the 10 life Tao patterns to heal his physical injuries. He was preparing to fully heal his injuries and adjust his state to the best before entering the Black Divine Palace that was filled with danger. While Yi Qinfeng was healing with all his might, Shadow also forced herself to sit up. She consumed 2 heaven-class soul elixirs and healed her injuries. As time passed, Yi Qinfeng and Shadow were like 2 statues. They sat cross-legged on the ground and didn't move, quickly recovering their injuries. After about a day, Yi Qinfeng had completely healed his physical injuries. He took out the dragon blood flower that the red blood man-devouring mosquito had been guarding for countless years and swallowed it. He circulated the soul-devouring art to refine it and further increase his strength. Such pure dragon power. This dragon blood flower is definitely nurtured by dragon blood. When he was refining the dragon blood flower, Yi Qinfeng could feel that the power of the dragon contained within the dragon blood flower wasn't any weaker than the dragon blood fruit that he had refined back then. While increasing his soul power, his dragon bloodline was also continuously strengthening. If a Class 4 Defiant Beast King consumed the dragon blood flower nurtured by dragon blood, their strength would at least reach the phenomenal success stage. However, Yi Qinfeng's foundation was too deep. He was comparable to an emperor-level expert, and the 2-headed Blood Dragon King was much stronger than ordinary spiritual beasts. After refining the dragon blood flower, Yi Qinfeng's strength only increased slightly. How much of your injuries have you recovered? After refining the dragon blood flower, Yi Qinfeng didn't refine the other heaven-class spiritual items like the 10,000-year Tao Lotus. He slowly stood up and looked at Shadow, who was sitting cross-legged and recuperating, and asked softly, "I've basically recovered 80% of my injuries." Shadow exhaled and opened his eyes. "I'm going to enter the Black Shrine now. Do you want to come with me?" Yi Qinfeng looked at Shadow, who was slightly pale and had a sad look on her face. "Let's go." Shadow slowly stood up and fearlessly followed Yi Qinfeng to the palace gate, which was tens of meters tall and made of special materials. "Huh." As Yi Qinfeng gave a loud shout, a tremendous power burst out from his arms and pushed the door, which weighed millions of kilograms. Bit by bit, the door was pushed open. Holding the moonstone, he walked in with Shadow. As expected, there is a soul-subduing steel and a black stone coffin in the shrine. When the moonlight stone illuminated the temple, Yi Qinfeng saw a huge soul-suppressing steel sitting in the center of the temple. Under the steel was suppressing a 2-meter-long black coffin with a large number of patterns engraved on the surface. Sword edge. Looking at the soul-suppressing steel in front of him, Yi Qinfeng immediately saw the Emperor's Sky sword edge at the top of the steel. If the Emperor's Sky sword fused with its sharpest sword edge, its attacking power would increase tremendously and reach the Quasi-Dao artifact level. After discovering the Emperor's Sky sword edge, Yi Qinfeng didn't immediately take it out and fuse it with the sword edge. Instead, he released his powerful soul power and radiated it towards the top of the temple to sense the location of the sky crystal. He was prepared to wait for the sword puppet to devour the sky crystal and increase its strength before fusing with the sword edge to break the soul-suppressing steel and release the demon's body that was being suppressed by the steel. Over there. After releasing his powerful soul spirit to sense for a while, Yi Qinfeng locked onto the location of the sky crystal that was hidden at the top of the temple. He flew up into the void with the sword puppet and arrived at the bottom of the temple. Flying immortal sword, break. Yi Qinfeng didn't waste any time and used the crudest method to attack the sword puppet with all his strength. He wanted to tear apart the restriction that hid the sky crystal and create an opportunity for the sword puppet to devour it. Rumble. After receiving the all-out attacks from Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet, the huge temple top started to tremble. Tens of thousands of ancient array patterns appeared on the temple top and fused with the sky crystal, forming a destructive suppressive force that blasted towards Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet. Withstanding the increasing suppressive force, Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet continued to attack. While they were shattering the suppressive force, they were also attacking the spatial restriction with all their strength. Yi Qinfeng, let me help you. Shadow took a deep breath and exerted force from his slender legs. While facing the suppressive force that was gushing down, he appeared beside Yi Qinfeng. He held two swords that were as thin as cicadas' wings and weaved out dense sword shadows, attacking the spatial restriction that was cracking. Under the relentless attacks from Yi Qinfeng, Shadow, and the sword puppet, the spatial restriction was being torn apart bit by bit, revealing the sky crystal in the temple's core. Sword puppet engulf. Yi Qinfeng looked at the heaven crystal above his head. It was the size of a fist, and it contained a vast amount of energy. He immediately ordered the sword spirit puppet to devour the heaven crystal. Boom! 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 While the sword puppet was engulfing the sky crystal, the suppressive force in the temple decreased rapidly. At this moment, the black stone coffin immediately emitted a thick, black, demonic aura. It was like a tidal wave that blasted against the soul-suppressing stone tablet, trying to shatter it. Sword puppet, fuse with all your strength. After discovering that the demonic body suppressed by the soul-suppressing stone tablet was trying to break free, Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered the sword puppet to speed up the engulfing process. While the black demonic aura was attacking the soul-suppressing stone tablet, Ditian's sword blade immediately released extremely sharp sword Dao patterns, penetrating the soul-suppressing stone tablet and crushing the black demonic aura. The two powerful attacks were getting more and more intense as they clashed against each other. The soul-suppressing stone tablet shook violently, and tiny cracks started to spread on the surface of the soul-suppressing stone tablet. Yi Qinfeng, what should we do? Seeing more and more cracks on the soul-suppressing stone tablet, Shadow could smell the thick aura of death. His face turned pale as he asked nervously, "Wait." Yi Qinfeng spat out a single word and sat cross-legged on the ground. He waited in silence for the sword puppet to engulf the sky crystal and for the demonic body to shatter the soul-suppressing stone tablet. While Yi Qinfeng and Shadow were waiting, the terrifying demonic hand was also waiting patiently outside the Black Temple. It was waiting for its other body to break free and fuse with it. The black demonic aura clashed with the soul-suppressing stone tablet and Ditian's sword blade for more than 2 hours. A loud cracking sound was heard, and a huge crack appeared on the surface of the stone tablet. It is finally going to break free. I wonder which part of the demonic body this temple is suppressing. Looking at the soul-suppressing stone tablet that was almost broken in half, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but reveal a serious expression. He was prepared to take out Ditian's sword and fuse with the sharp sword blade to fight with all his might. Luckily, after more than 2 hours of engulfing, the sword puppet had basically fused with the sky crystal. Its strength had reached the level of a level 5 combat beast emperor. After another 16 hours, a surge of demonic aura shattered the heavy black coffin lid and landed heavily on the soul-suppressing stone tablet, causing the shattered soul-suppressing stone tablet to shatter. In the next moment, a majestic demonic body that was coiled around by a long snake-like demonic aura emerged from the black coffin, releasing a terrifying amount of demonic aura. The demonic body that had been suppressed for God knows how many years had finally broken free. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please receive red packets. 4th update tomorrow. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 615. Devil's Body. This shrine is actually suppressing a devil's body. Looking at the abnormally strong devil's body that had no limbs and no head, Yi Qinfeng could smell the intense aura of death. He had no doubt that the devil's power contained in this devil's body could completely suppress him. Human, to thank you for helping me escape, I have decided to devour your blood and soul. You will become a part of my body and dominate the entire Dohu continent. A ruthless and savage voice resounded from the devil's body. It echoed in the ears of Yi Qinfeng and Luo Yunyang, causing their eardrums to tremble slightly. Emperor Sky, sword, fuse! Yi Qinfeng ignored the roaring devil's body and appeared beside the Emperor Sky, sword in a flash. He took out the damaged Emperor Sky sword and rapidly fused it with the sharp sword edge, increasing the quality of the Emperor Sky sword. 5 sword Dao patterns. There are 5 sword Dao patterns in this sword edge. When the Emperor Sky sword fused with the sword edge, Yi Qinfeng felt that the sword edge contained 5 sword Dao patterns. Emperor Sky, sword. Why is that old bastard's Emperor Sky sword in your hands? What is your relationship with Di Tian? Looking at the Emperor Sky sword that was rapidly fusing with the sword edge, the mysterious soul in the devil's body immediately sensed it and let out a furious roar. Rolling demonic aura was released from his strong body and blasted towards Yi Qinfeng. Emperor Sky, sword, slash! As the rolling demonic aura surged over, Yi Qinfeng slashed with the quasi-Dao artifact Emperor Sky sword. The terrifying sword radiance split the space and split the demonic aura in half. Tell me, what is your relationship with that old bastard Di Tian? The furious devil's body questioned for the second time. I have no comment. As he spoke, the 2-headed blood dragon king that had fused with a large amount of dragon aura appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body. The terrifying dragon prowess constantly dispersed the demonic aura in the shrine. Looking at Yi Qinfeng's spiritual beast, the devil's body became even more irritable and roared ruthlessly. Dragon? I hate dragons the most. Sword puppet, do it. As the demonic body's strength continued to increase, Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered the sword puppet, who had fused with the heaven crystal and had reached the level of a level 5 beast emperor, to descend from the sky and transform into a sword to attack the demonic body. Break! The sword puppet transformed into an extremely fast sword ray and slashed out. A large amount of devil qi gushed out from the devil's body, transforming into a giant hand that blotted out the sky. The fist smashed forward with enough force to shatter the galaxy. Boom! When the 2 attacks collided, an earth-shattering power immediately erupted. Although the giant hand formed by the demon's body was tyrannical, it couldn't shake the sword's spirit puppet in the slightest. After withstanding the attack of the giant hand, 2 sword lights surged out from the sword's spirit puppet's arms and pierced through the demon's body's chest, leaving 2 bloody holes in it. 8 Sha Azura Art, Eternal Night. When the demonic body was under the fierce attack of the sword puppet, 7 killing halos appeared behind Yi Qinfeng. He decisively ignited his dragon bloodline and transformed into his beast soul form, slashing out with the Eternal Night sword ray. A pitch-black sword radiance flashed by. It was mixed with the power of slaughter, close to 1,500 kilograms of force, as well as the will of the Great Path, snatched away all the light in the space. The sword pierced towards the chest of the demonic body. Chi! A deep sword wound appeared on the demonic body's chest, and a large amount of demonic blood flowed out. Lowly human, you dare to injure me? In a moment of carelessness, the demonic body was injured by the sword puppet and Yi Qinfeng, which completely infuriated him. However, after fusing with the second medium heaven crystal, the sword spirit puppet had already become extremely terrifying. It unleashed wave after wave of attacks, each stronger than the last, completely suppressing the demonic body and shattering the sky-covering giant hands that it had condensed. Just as the demonic body was suffering from the ferocious attacks of the sword puppet and was riddled with crisscrossing cracks, the terrifying demonic hand blasted through the heavy restrictions on the door and flew into the divine palace. Not good. Just as the sword puppet was about to severely injure the demonic body, the demonic hand appeared at the most crucial moment. Yi Qinfeng's expression changed drastically, and he flew toward the demonic hand in a flash, wanting to stop it from fusing with the demonic body. Yi Qinfeng's reaction could be said to be extremely fast, but the demonic hand's attacks were too terrifying. It twisted the space and the galaxy-shaking palm projections constantly disintegrated Yi Qinfeng's attacks, forcing Yi Qinfeng to retreat. The demonic body, which was riddled with wounds, decisively gave up on fighting with the sword puppet and quickly flew toward the demonic hand. In the end, the two demonic bodies collided, setting off boundless black waves. A large number of meridians quickly fused, repaired, and rapidly increased their strength. Shadow, if you want to obtain the opportunity in this divine palace, quickly help me. Feeling the demonic body fusing with the demonic hand, Yi Qinfeng's expression changed slightly, and he immediately shouted at Shadow. Thorns of wood. Shadow made up his mind and took the risk to approach the fused demonic body. He controlled the two Dao intents to form a large patch of thorns of wood, which wrapped around the demonic body. Break. An earth-shattering demonic chi was released from the demonic body, tearing apart the thorns of wood. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet continued to attack the demonic body, thinking of ways to severely injure it. Boom! 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 An earth-shattering explosion resounded. Bursts of volcanic eruption-like energy violently collided with each other, releasing terrifying power. It formed gusts of violent wind in the divine palace, whistling wantonly, fluctuating and distorting the divine palace. Poof! Shadow, who could not dodge, could not withstand the attack of the destructive chi waves. He spat out a large mouthful of blood and was directly sent flying, crashing heavily into the cracked walls of the divine palace. He was severely injured. Although Yi Qinfeng relied on his powerful physical body to withstand the impact of the destructive chi waves, his body's injuries were constantly worsening. If he could not severely injure the demonic body as soon as possible, Yi Qinfeng's situation would become very dangerous. Golden Dragon Bloodlion, quickly come out and help. In desperation, Yi Qinfeng took the risk to summon the level 7 heavenly beast, Golden Dragon Bloodlion. He ordered it to activate the two bloodlines and attack the demonic body with all its might. Battle form. When the Golden Dragon Bloodlion appeared in the Dragon Abyss Divine Palace, it was not restrained by the Dragon Abyss. He decisively transformed into his strongest battle form and attacked the demonic body. The demonic body was slightly distracted by the Golden Dragon Bloodlion's attack. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng stepped on a thunder flash and approached the demonic body like a zigzag lightning bolt. In the next moment, the Chaos Divine Beast Parasitic and the Chaos Divine would let out a roar of chaos that penetrated the clouds and cracked rocks. It was like a violent wave that bombarded the demonic body. The terrifying sound waves penetrated the demonic body and severely injured the demonic body's soul, causing the demonic body's reaction to be slightly delayed. Sword puppet, attack with all your might. Seizing this fleeting opportunity, Yi Qinfeng threw the Emperor's celestial sword to the sword puppet and ordered it to attack with all its might. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng also summoned the Quasi-Dao treasures Vermilion Bird Cauldron and Scarlet Thunderball. He released the Vermilion Bird Fire and Thunder of Death to launch a fatal attack on the demonic body. Boom! 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 The sword puppet sword combined with the Vermilion Bird Cauldron and Scarlet Thunderball's attacks bombarded the demonic body continuously. The terrifying attacks damaged the demonic body greatly, causing it to break apart. This made it want to retreat. However, Yi Qinfeng did not give it a chance to escape. He surrounded the demonic body with the sword puppet and the Golden Dragon Bloodlion. They used all their skills and attacked ferociously. They wanted to take this opportunity to destroy the demonic body and prevent future troubles. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 616. Dark Dao Intent, Devour! After being attacked by Yi Qinfeng and the others, the injuries on the devil's body continued to worsen. It forced him to burn his terrifying blood essence and forcefully use the dark Tao intent. It formed a terrifying devouring power in his body and devoured the attacks. See, under the protection of the dark Tao intent, the defense of the devil's body increased tremendously. It started to retaliate ferociously. Shadow, if you continue to hold back, we will probably die here today. Yi Qinfeng shouted at Shadow, who was attacking ferociously but couldn't hurt the devil's body at all. Celestial treasure, sexual flute. Shadow bit his lips tightly and revealed his greatest trump card. He took out the sexual flute, which was as long as a baby's arm and was completely black. It had a beast's head embedded in it and started to play it. Tune of 9 souls. Billowing soul power and bloodline power fused into the flute. A melodious tune that resembled the sound of an army of horses and spears, as well as the sound of sand being washed away by the sea, was released from the flute. It bombarded the devil's body, confusing the devil's soul and weakening his attack. Human weapon unification. Slash! When the devil's body was attacked by Shadow's tune of 9 souls, his reaction became slightly sluggish. The sword puppet quickly fused with the Empyrean sky sword and turned into a light sword that could split the heavens and earth. It carried an unstoppable attack power and slashed the devil's body. A deep sword mark was left on the demon's body. A large amount of black blood flowed out from the deep sword mark. Next, Yi Qinfeng shot out the scarlet thunder pearl and bombarded the sword mark on the devil's chest. It released a terrifying thunder of death that penetrated the devil's body and damaged him deeply. The scarlet thunder pearl was a quasi-Tao treasure. The destructive power of the thunder of death that it released was extremely terrifying. It constantly shattered the dark Tao intent in the devil's body, tore his body apart, and worsened his injuries. Lowly humans, you have angered me. After dispelling the sound of the Song of 9 Souls, the demon body, whose injuries were worsening, unleashed a killer move. His surging blood essence was completely ignited. A large amount of dark Tao patterns surged out of his body and rapidly gathered in the void. 80 Tao patterns of darkness. 60 death Tao patterns. Yi Qinfeng had a solemn expression when he saw the 2 Tao wills intertwined with each other as the demon's body burned its qi and blood. Shadow's face was ashen as he felt a deep sense of fear. She'd never seen someone cultivate concept to such an extent, and the 8th level of the dark Tao insight had already exceeded her imagination. Lowly humans, you too can go to hell now. Dark ripple of death. The demon roared. The dark Tao pattern and the death Tao pattern fused together to form the death Tao pattern. It was like a raging sea, rolling up a terrifying qi wave and trying to devour Yi Qinfeng and Shadow. Sword puppet, defend! Sensing the terror of the dark ripple of death, Yi Qinfeng decisively ordered the sword puppet to stand in front of him. Meanwhile, Shadow quickly circled behind Yi Qinfeng to seek protection. Boom! 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 The dark ripple of death that was filled with the 2 Tao wills bombarded the sword puppet's body at an extremely high frequency, setting off monstrous waves. For a moment, all the sounds in the world were devoured. The terrifying impact constantly tore the space apart, causing the space in the temple to collapse. PFFF! PFFF! Although Yi Qinfeng had the sword puppet's defense, he was still injured by the aftershock of the dark ripple of death. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth, and cracks appeared on his body that was comparable to a heaven artifact. As for Shadow, he was heavily injured by this destructive power. His mid-tier heaven-grade battle suit was completely shattered, revealing his bloody body. He was heavily smashed into the palace wall hundreds of meters away, and he fell to the ground, dying. 7 swords of judgment, sky-shattering, relying on the sword puppet's defense to resist the fatal attack of the dark ripple of death. Yi Qinfeng endured the impact of the destructive storm and flew into the air. The powerful soul power in his mind locked onto the devil's body as he wielded his emperor weapon and unleashed his ultimate attack. The rolling power of slaughter and the power of concept fused together to form the sky-shattering sword that could cut through the heaven and earth. It tore through the destructive storm and slashed towards the devil's body with boundless destructive power. Under the threat of death, Yi Qinfeng's sword's power reached its peak. As far as the eye could see, a pitch-black spatial crack appeared in the sky. The sword's power was monstrous. Qi, the devil's body, couldn't dodge in time and was sent flying by the sky-shattering sword. Its strong body was severely injured again. Lowly humans, this saint will spare your lives today. The next time we meet, this saint will destroy all of you. His most powerful attack was blocked by the sword puppet's body. He had used up a lot of energy, and the devil's body was covered in sword scars. He knew that it would be difficult for him to kill Yi Qinfeng. He left behind a ruthless sentence and fled from the temple. Where do you think you're going? While the devil's body was fleeing, Yi Qinfeng ignored his injuries and forcefully passed through the destructive storm to stop him. But when he passed through the destructive storm, the terrifying devil's body broke through the temple's restrictions and escaped, disappearing into the endless black air currents. He escaped again. After failing to kill him, Yi Qinfeng revealed a look of regret. Once the devil's body was reconstructed, it would be difficult to kill him again. Are you okay? After the demonic body escaped, Yi Qinfeng slowly walked over to Ning, who was lying in a pool of blood, heavily injured and extremely weak, and asked in a low voice, "I'm fine." Shadow struggled to sit up. Her hands were crossed in the air, and her round breasts were stained with blood. She weakly said, "You should quickly heal yourself. I will naturally leave you a share of the opportunities in this temple." Yi Qinfeng swept his eyes over Shadow's exposed breasts, his heart unperturbed. He slowly turned around and walked towards the black stone coffin that had suppressed the devil's body for who knew how many years. When he had fought with the devil's body, his powerful soul had sensed that there was something under the black stone coffin. This is the Tao, fruit of death. When he forcefully pushed open the cracked black stone coffin, he discovered that there was a thin black grass growing under the coffin that was half an inch tall. There were 3 grain-sized, pitch-black fruits on the grass that contained the Tao, will of death. According to the God-Eater brain, these 3 black fruits were the Tao, fruit of death, nurtured by the extreme of death. Each one was comparable to a true Tao core and extremely precious. Spirit fish, I have something good for you. The death Tao fruits all contain the same death Tao intent. Yi Qinfeng only needed one. With a thought, he teleported the sleepy spirit fish out of the universe mirror. It had swallowed a large amount of heaven-grade spirit herbs. After swallowing so many heaven-rank spirit herbs, the spirit fish's strength had increased rapidly. She had already broken through to the 4th level Defiant Beast King realm, and her physical strength had exceeded 5 million kilograms. Big brother Qingfeng, this is? The spirit fish's eyes lit up when she sensed the pure spirit energy and Tao intent contained within the Tao fruit of death. She asked with a flushed face, "Here are 2 Tao fruits of death. Each one is comparable to a true Tao core." Yi Qinfeng gave the 2 Tao fruits of death to the spirit fish and gave her a Tao intent lotus seed of the same value. "Thank you, big brother Qingfeng." The spirit fish's eyes curved into cute crescents as she held the 3 Tao intent fruits that were enough to make a battle beast emperor go crazy. "All right, spirit fish, return to the universe, mirror, and cultivate." After saying that, Yi Qinfeng put the excited spirit fish back into the universe mirror. With a flick of his finger, he shot the slightly less valuable Tao, fruit of death, to Shadow. Following that, Yi Qinfeng released his powerful soul to cover the entire shrine and search for the location of the dragon bone. However, after searching the entire shrine, he couldn't find the dragon bone. He couldn't help but reveal a trace of regret. "Looks like not every shrine has a dragon bone." Yi Qinfeng sighed softly and swallowed the grain-sized Tao fruit of death, into his stomach. He quickly refined it and further improved his strength. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 617. 3 days later, Yi Qinfeng refined the Death Dao fruit. While his strength increased, he also comprehended the 4 Death Dao patterns in the Dao fruit. He also comprehended the 5 sword Dao patterns on the Ditian sword. Let's go. Let's leave this place. With his strength increased, Yi Qinfeng walked over to Shadow, who had basically recovered from her injuries, and was refining the Death Dao grass. After refining the Dao Intent Lotus Seed and the Death Dao grass, Shadow's strength had also increased significantly. She had reached the peak of Grade 6 Defiant Beast King realm and was only 1 step away from reaching the half-step Combat Beast Emperor realm. Shadow nodded and slowly stood up. He followed Yi Qinfeng and left the temple, which was on the verge of collapsing at any moment. Perhaps it was because Yi Qinfeng saw her alluring body, but Shadow, who was wearing a tight black martial arts suit, didn't wear a veil. Her delicate face was pale, and it was very lovable. After rushing out of the black air current outside the temple, Yi Qinfeng followed the route that the God-Eater brain had deduced and brought Shadow to the southwest. They were searching for the next temple. Lake. There's a lake in front. As they flew, the sky gradually darkened. Through the scarlet clouds, Yi Qinfeng and Shaoqin discovered a boundless lake in front of them. Let's rest by the lake for the night. It was late at night, and the illusions formed by the stars in the sky were stronger. It was very easy to get lost. The lake in front of them was very vast, so Yi Qinfeng decided to rest by the lake for the night. They would wait until dawn to fly across this dangerous lake. Yi Qinfeng, I want to wash my body by the lake. Shadow loved cleanliness. Looking at the serene lake in front of her, she couldn't wait to wash off the dirt and blood stains on her body. Yi Qinfeng nodded and reminded her, there might be terrifying heavenly beasts hidden in this lake. You must remember not to go too deep into the lake. Once the heavenly beasts in the lake are alerted, there might be trouble. I know. Ying nodded. She took off her leather boots and slowly walked towards the rippling lake with her bare feet. Walla, walla! The cold lake water went up to Shadow's long legs. She gently bent down and scooped up the lake water to wash the blood off her face and neck. Because she was bending over, her round buttocks were raised high, and they were faintly discernible under the starlight. It was extremely tempting. Looking at this alluring scene, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but admit that at this moment, Shadow was extremely charming. But his heart was firm, and his heart of martial arts far surpassed that of an ordinary person's. Thus, he didn't feel the slightest ripple in his heart. After dispelling the distracting thoughts in his mind, Yi Qinfeng closed his eyes and controlled the 2-headed Blood Dragon King to continue fusing with the draconic aura within the draconic patterns to increase its strength. After washing for a while, Ying, who still wanted to continue, gently bit her lips and went deeper into the lake. She submerged her whole body into the cold and comfortable lake water and took off her clothes in the lake water to wash the filth off her body. Just as Ying was submerged in the lake water to wash the blood stains off her body and was about to put on her clothes and go ashore, her keen perception detected a dangerous aura approaching her, making her hair stand on end. What is that? Ying's expression changed slightly as she looked towards the lake. Through the illusory starlight, she saw a huge shadow swimming towards her at an extremely fast speed. When Ying noticed the approaching danger, she closed her eyes and adjusted her breathing. Yi Qinfeng, who was controlling the 2-headed Blood Dragon King to devour the draconic aura, also sensed the danger. He opened his deep eyes and stood up. Level 8 Heavenly Beast. Yi Qinfeng's soul was far stronger than Ying's, so he could easily sense that the huge shadow hidden in the lake was a level 8 heavenly beast. Revealing a dignified expression, he shouted at Ing, "What are you waiting for? Quickly go ashore." Hearing Yi Qinfeng's shout, Ing hurriedly put on her clothes and flew out of the lake. Roar! The moment Ing flew out, a high-pitched beast roar rang out, exploding the rippling surface of the lake and distorting the space to bombard Ing, who was in midair. Facing the sudden attack of the beast roar, Ing, who couldn't dodge, immediately controlled several great concepts to gush out of her body, forming a shadow sword that slashed forward, greatly offsetting the power of the beast roar. However, the strength gap between Ing and the level 8 heavenly beast in the lake was too big. The Tao intent that she hurriedly displayed could only resist for 3 breaths of time before it was shattered by the terrifying beast roar. Puff! Spitting out a mouthful of blood, Ing fell into the lake like a kite with a broken string. Seeing her fall into the lake, a vague shadow cut through the night and hugged Ing, whose clothes were severely damaged in his arms. Stepping on the violently tumbling lake with the tip of his foot, they returned to the shore. At this time, Ying's hair was slightly messy. Her sexy collarbone, white and tender twin peaks, and straight white legs were completely exposed in front of Yi Qinfeng. Under the starlight, they shone with a seductive light, seductive and alluring. However, Yi Qinfeng had no time to appreciate such a seductive scene. The huge monster in the lake had already emerged from the lake and roared at Yi Qinfeng and Ing. Level 8 heavenly beast, serene turtle. Looking at the huge monster in front of them through Yi Qinfeng's body, the divine beast of chaos let out a strange cry of excitement. Boss, you must kill it. After swallowing its beast core, I can recover to the level of a level 8 heavenly beast. All right. Yi Qinfeng nodded and put down Ing. He summoned the sword puppet and faced the terrifying level 8 heavenly beast, serene turtle. Sword puppet, destroy it at all costs. Yi Qinfeng lent the quasi-Dao artifact Emperor Celestial sword to the sword puppet and ordered it to attack with all its might. Swish! An ear-piercing sound rang out as the sword puppet wielded the Emperor Celestial sword and drew a sword shadow in midair. It slashed towards the serene turtle with an astounding sword intent. A light sword that was more than 10 feet long flew out of the Emperor's celestial sword and slashed on the serene turtle's thick shell, leaving behind a deep sword mark on the tough shell. As the sword puppet attacked the serene turtle ferociously, the vermilion bird cauldron and the scarlet thunderball flew out of Yi Qinfeng's body and attacked the serene turtle with astounding power. The scorching flames of the vermilion bird and the extremely destructive power of death continuously drilled into the serene turtle's body. Large amounts of blood flowed out from the serene turtle's neck, dyeing the lake red. The serene turtle did not expect Yi Qinfeng to be so difficult to deal with. Not only was it unable to devour Yi Qinfeng, but it was also restrained by Yi Qinfeng, worsening the injuries on its body. Battle form. A deep roar rang out as the furious serene turtle ignited its terrifying power of blood and qi. It transformed into the strongest half-human, half-beast, beast soul form and launched a ferocious counterattack. The battle form of the serene turtle became extremely terrifying. Its physical strength was close to 10 million gene, which was enough to fight against an ordinary level 4 combat beast emperor expert. However, the sword puppet was even more terrifying. It relied on its indestructible body to continuously block the serene turtle's attacks and fought fiercely with the serene turtle. The terrifying energy engulfed the quiet lake, and pillars of water soared into the sky like dragons. The endless flames of power even lit up the pitch-black space. The more the sword puppet and the serene turtle fought, the faster and stronger they became. The destructive power they created made Yi Qinfeng not dare to get close to them easily. Just as the battle between the sword puppet and the serene turtle reached its climax, and the heaven crystal's energy was rapidly depleting, a distant sound of a flute rang out. It was like the sound of an armored horse and spear, like a small bridge and flowing water. It directly bombarded the serene turtle's soul, causing its reaction to be slightly delayed. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 618. Man-Weapon Unity, Break. While the tortoise's reaction was delayed, the sword puppet burned the heaven crystal's energy. Its entire body fused with the Emperor's celestial sword and pierced towards the tortoise's chest. Yen yen. Chi. Before the tortoise could control its shell to defend, the unstoppable Emperor's celestial sword stabbed into the tortoise's chest, severely injuring its body. Vermilion bird cauldron, suppress. The tortoise was injured by the sword puppet's man-weapon unity. Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the vermilion bird cauldron to expand and suppress the tortoise like a mountain. Feeling the destructive power from the vermilion bird cauldron, the tortoise decisively controlled its unbreakable shell to defend with all its might. However, when the tortoise forcefully resisted the vermilion bird cauldron suppression, Yi Qinfeng used his strongest move. The scarlet thunder pearl, which contained endless energy, shot out and pierced the tortoise's chest that was penetrated by the Emperor's celestial sword. The next moment, endless thunder of death was released from the scarlet thunder pearl. It was like a scarlet sun, destroying the tortoise's body and damaging its vitality. God-fiend bloodline, burn, God-fiend body. The tortoise was severely injured. Yi Qinfeng had indeed burned his God-fiend bloodline and transformed into his strongest God-fiend body. He launched his most fatal attack, wanting to kill the tortoise in one go. Die. Yi Qinfeng, who was filled with explosive power, rushed over. The tortoise, whose injuries were worsening, forced out the scarlet thunder pearl and shook off the vermilion bird cauldron. It then threw out a huge tortoise shell that was more than 10 meters in diameter. Wind riding technique. Facing the tortoise shell's attack, Yi Qinfeng didn't take it head-on. Instead, he used the wind riding technique and instantly increased his speed. He dodged the tortoise shell's attack and approached the tortoise. He struck out the mystic underworld extreme Tao with one hand and the heavenly Tao's ruthless with the other. He struck the tortoise's chest, causing it to howl in pain and roar in anger. Song of Nine Souls. Just as the angry tortoise was counterattacking with all its might, Shadow continued to play the celestial flute, forming a soul-shaking sound wave. The Song of Nine Souls attacked the tortoise's soul, making it feel as if its head was being pricked by needles. Roar of Chaos. The Chaos Divine Beast, who had been waiting for an opportunity, attacked. The terrifying sound waves were like a roaring tide. They hit the bloody body of the spirit tortoise right in front of it. It was so strong that the spirit tortoise's huge body was knocked back. It fell into the cold lake. Boss, don't let it get away. The divine beast of chaos sensed that the serene turtle was scared and wanted to escape into the bottomless serene lake. Don't worry, it can't run away. Yi Qinfeng leaped into the air, and the dual polarity ancient heavenly water shot out from Yi Qinfeng's body and into the serene lake. In an instant, the serene lake was frozen, preventing the serene turtle from escaping to the bottom of the lake. At the same time, the sword puppet closed in on the heavily injured tortoise and launched a deadly attack at it. It continued to worsen the tortoise's injuries, not giving it a chance to escape into the lake. Flying immortal sword. Flame dragon destroys the world. 7 swords of judgment. Yi Qinfeng continued to unleash nearly 25 million gene of strength as he unleashed his Taoist skills over and over again. Under the relentless attacks of Yi Qinfeng and the sword spirit puppet, the dark tortoise's gigantic body was riddled with wounds. Blood flowed out from the tortoise's body and dyed large patches of ice red. Vermilion bird cauldron, suppress. Just as the spirit tortoise's injuries were too severe and it could no longer maintain its battle form, Yi Qinfeng controlled the vermilion bird cauldron to grow bigger and bigger. It fiercely suppressed the spirit tortoise's huge body. When the spirit tortoise opened its bloody mouth and roared in pain, Yi Qinfeng once again shot out the scarlet thunder pearl. It passed through the spirit tortoise's mouth and shot into its body. Explode! After controlling the scarlet thunder pearl and successfully shooting it into the spirit tortoise's body, Yi Qinfeng immediately detonated the scarlet thunder pearl, releasing an endless amount of energy that attacked the spirit tortoise's body. It was in so much pain that it kept rolling on the ground. A large amount of blood spurted out from its mouth. If the spirit tortoise was at its peak, it could use its powerful strength to force the scarlet thunder pearl out of its body. But now it was seriously injured and was already an arrow at the end of its flight. There was no way it could force the scarlet thunder pearl out. It could be said that the scarlet thunder pearl had already declared its death. Roar! The spirit tortoise's painful roars grew louder and louder. Its injuries were also getting more and more serious. Its powerful body was damaged beyond recognition by the scarlet thunder pearl, and its flame of life was getting weaker and weaker. In the end, the spirit tortoise, a grade 8 heavenly beast, was killed by the scarlet thunder pearl. It lay motionless in a pool of blood. After killing the spirit tortoise, Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered the sword puppet to dig out the spirit tortoise's demonic core, demonic heart, tortoise shell, and everything else of value, keeping them in his Qian Kun ring. Ying, this grade 8 heavenly beast is very important to me. I can't give you all of its treasures. However, I am prepared to slaughter all the heavenly beasts in the spirit lake. As for the rest of the treasures in the lake, they are all yours. Yi Qinfeng said generously when he saw that Ying's clothes were a little messy, revealing traces of her body. All right. Feeling Yi Qinfeng's gaze, Ying did not feel uncomfortable at all. She straightened her clothes and agreed happily. After resting for a while, Yi Qinfeng and Ying rushed into the spirit lake. As the spirit tortoise, the overlord of the spirit lake, had been killed, the other heavenly beasts in the spirit lake were no longer a threat to him. He was prepared to slaughter all the mid to high-level heavenly beasts in the spirit lake for the chaos divine beasts, Jin Qing dragon bloodlion, and the space devourer to increase their strength. A bloody killing feast was about to begin. Yi Qinfeng, the sword puppet, and Ying went straight into the spirit lake, killing the heavenly beasts that were hiding in the depths of the spirit lake. Soon, the angry roars of the heavenly beasts and terrifying explosions broke the silence of the night. A large amount of blood gushed out from the bottom of the spirit lake, dyeing it red. At dawn, Yi Qinfeng and Ying, who were covered in blood, came out of the blood-red spirit lake and came to the shore. After a night of slaughter, Yi Qinfeng, with the help of the sword puppet, had killed 4 level 7 heavenly beasts and 13 level 6 heavenly beasts. As for Ying, she found more than 10 precious heavenly tier spiritual herbs in the nests of the heavenly beasts, including a heavenly nether purple herb that was comparable to a Dao core. Ying, let's cultivate here for a few days to increase our strength before we continue, Yi Qinfeng suggested. All right. After obtaining so many heavenly tier spiritual herbs, Ying could not wait to refine them and break through to the half-step beast emperor realm. While Ying sat cross-legged by the blood-stained lake to cultivate, Yi Qinfeng walked away and sent a large amount of demonic cores, demonic hearts, and demonic beast blood essences into the cosmos mirror for the chaos divine beasts to consume. After about 3 days, the 3 heavenly beasts that had refined a large amount of demonic cores, demonic hearts, and demonic blood essences had broken through to the next level. The Chaos Divine Beast, the Golden Dragon Bloodlion, had reached the level 8 Heavenly Beast. The Space Swallowing Bug had also evolved to the level 7 Heavenly Beast after consuming a large amount of demonic beast blood essences. As for Ying, she had refined the Heavenly Nether Purple Herb and more than 10 Heavenly Tier spiritual herbs. Her strength had improved further, and she had reached the half-step Beast Emperor realm. Let's go. We will fly over the Spirit Lake and continue to look for the Dragon Abyss. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng summoned the golden rock's wings and flew over the lake with Shadow, which was filled with a thick smell of blood. They continued to search for the great opportunity in the Dragon Abyss. Fourth update. Mobile reading home. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to read it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 619. Sword of Flying Immortal, Break. 55 sword Dao patterns broke out of Yi Qinfeng's body and gathered into an extremely sharp light sword. The light sword cut through a dark gray, angular, 5-meter-tall strange rock. #Yen. In the next moment, a large amount of energy ripples appeared in the void. The illusion power that filled the space rapidly decreased. The scene in front of Yi Qinfeng and Shadow also changed. A towering mountain that stretched as far as the eye could see appeared in front of them, like a coiling dragon. Just as Yi Qinfeng was considering if he should take the risk and enter this dangerous and mysterious mountain range, he suddenly felt the ground beneath his feet trembling. It was as though a terrifying energy was nurturing behind him. What kind of energy is this? Feeling the airflow becoming restless and the ground trembling more and more violently, Yi Qinfeng's expression changed slightly. He immediately looked behind him. What is that? Yi Qinfeng turned his head and discovered that the space behind him had turned pitch black. An extremely terrifying black storm was surging towards him like a tsunami, covering the sky and covering the earth. Although the black storm was far away, Yi Qinfeng had a feeling that if he was swept into this black storm, even if he transformed into his strongest, god-fiend body, he would be instantly torn into pieces. The Dragon Abyss was simply too dangerous. Wind of Annihilation. That seems to be the wind of annihilation recorded in the ancient books. Looking at the black storm that engulfed the world behind them, Shadow was so frightened that her beautiful face turned pale. She recognized that this black storm was probably the wind of annihilation recorded in the ancient books. It was one of the most terrifying anomalies in the Dragon Abyss. Let's find a place to hide in the mountain range ahead. Yi Qinfeng made a prompt decision. He immediately took the panic-stricken Shadow and flew towards the dragon-like mountain range ahead to find a place to hide. Yi Qinfeng and Shadow were flying at an extremely fast speed. However, the wind of annihilation was even faster. The terrifying black storm was like a roaring primeval beast that engulfed everything. It closed the distance between Yi Qinfeng and Shadow and wanted to devour and destroy them. There's a crack in the ground ahead. Let's hide there. After flying into the pitch-black mountain range, Yi Qinfeng released his powerful soul and found a hidden crack in the depths of the mountain range. He immediately flew over with Shadow. At this time, the howling winds of destruction surged into the Black Mountain Range. The powerful force bombarded the entire mountain range, causing it to tremble violently. Large patches of ancient trees and mountain rocks were instantly reduced to dust. Get down! Seeing that Yi Qinfeng and Ji Hao were being swept away by the horrifying wind of destruction, both of them decisively squeezed into a hidden crack that could only fit 2 people. Because the fissure was too small, Yi Qinfeng and Li Wuyo's bodies were pressed tightly against each other. They could easily feel the heat coming from each other's bodies. Rumble. Just as Yi Qinfeng was about to move his body slightly, the wind of destruction, which was filled with the power to destroy the heavens and earth, swept over. The terrifying power bombarded the entire mountain range, causing the earth to shake. Shadow was so scared that her body trembled. She couldn't help but lean against Yi Qinfeng's body, seeking psychological protection. Shadow's delicate body was so close to Yi Qinfeng that he could clearly feel the softness and fullness of her body, especially her plump breasts, which made Yi Qinfeng's heart feel a little strange. However, Yi Qinfeng didn't have time to enjoy her soft body at this time. Wisps of wind of destruction drilled into the crack and attacked the two of them. Black heavenly fire, refine. As the wind of destruction attacked, Yi Qinfeng immediately released the black heavenly fire. He controlled the black heavenly fire to incinerate the wind of destruction, not giving it a chance to get close to him. Time slowly passed. The horrifying wind of destruction swept through the area for about an incense stick's worth of time before gradually dissipating. All right, the wind of destruction should be over. Let's go up. Yi Qinfeng said emotionlessly as he patted Ying's shoulder, who was snuggling up to him. Shadow nodded lightly. When her eyes met with Yi Qinfeng's eyes, two intoxicating blushes unconsciously crept up her cheeks, making her look very lovable. Although Shadow had taken off her cold killer's appearance, her beauty and grace were very captivating. Yi Qinfeng's eyes were clear. He was not affected at all. The destructive power of this wind of destruction is indeed terrifying. After flying out of the crack, Yi Qinfeng realized that the entire mountain range had been destroyed beyond recognition by the wind of destruction. Large areas of forest had been flattened, and countless crisscrossing cracks had spread throughout the mountain range. A few mountains in the distance had been destroyed by the wind of destruction and no longer existed. The power of illusion has disappeared. After the entire space was baptized by the wind of destruction, Yi Qinfeng unexpectedly discovered that the illusory power that filled the space had disappeared. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Qinfeng released the soul power in his mind and flew deeper into the mysterious mountain range with Shadow. He wanted to see what was hidden in this mountain range. At the same time, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang and the others also appeared in the mountain range that had been destroyed by the wind of destruction. After identifying the direction, they flew deeper into the mountain range. It's so beautiful. How can there be such a beautiful place in this mountain range? Yi Qinfeng and Shadow flew for more than 2 hours in the mysterious mountain range. They discovered that in the middle of the mountain range, a beautiful valley had appeared. It was like a paradise. Stalks of precious spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits that made one salivate could be seen all over the valley. However, when Yi Qinfeng controlled the illusory Tao insight to fill his eyes and see through this valley, he discovered that this beautiful valley was formed from the extremes of life and death. It didn't truly exist, and it was filled with extreme danger. Wait, don't go in yet. This valley is dangerous. Yi Qinfeng called out to Shadow, who was eager to go in. After he finished speaking, Yi Qinfeng sat down cross-legged outside the valley. He controlled the God-Eater brain to radiate into the valley and quickly deduced what was going on. Just as Yi Qinfeng was deducing what was going on in this valley, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out. Yu Zhongtian and the others appeared outside the valley and immediately saw Yi Qinfeng and Shadow sitting cross-legged. Shadow, you've broken through to become a half-step combat beast emperor. Mo Wuang's eyebrows twitched slightly when he sensed Shadow's strength. He had a dark expression on his face as he spoke. I followed Yi Qinfeng in the Dragon Abyss and obtained some opportunities. I was fortunate enough to break through to the next realm. Shadow nodded, regaining his cold expression as he spoke without a trace of emotion. Yi Qinfeng turned a deaf ear to the appearance of Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wang, and the others. He sat cross-legged like a statue and continued to control the God-Eater brain to deduce what was going on in this valley. Shadow, is there any danger in this valley? Yu Zhongtian glanced at Yi Qinfeng, who was sitting cross-legged and treating him like air, and asked coldly, I don't know. We also don't know what dangers are in this valley. Shadow shook his head and said, You don't know. Yu Zhongtian frowned slightly. He looked at the picturesque valley and hesitated. Suddenly, Yi Qinfeng opened his eyes. Like an incomparably sharp divine sword, he cut through the void and was the first to rush into this beautiful, yet dangerous valley. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 620. Let's go! When Yu Zhongtian and the others saw Yi Qinfeng suddenly rushing into the paradise-like valley, they all condensed their soul wings and chased after him, flying into the valley. #Yen. After flying into the valley, Yi Qinfeng didn't reduce his speed. Instead, he increased his flying speed. He wanted to use the fastest speed to cross this valley formed by the two forces of life and death. Suddenly, a strange phenomenon occurred. The extreme death energy in the valley erupted, forming a large amount of death aura that filled the air. It dyed the entire space black and swept towards Yi Qinfeng and the others. After being attacked by a large amount of death aura, Yi Qinfeng didn't reduce his speed. Instead, he burned his golden rock bloodline and increased his speed to the limit. Sword Dao, Fifth Heaven, break! Yi Qinfeng burst out with a shout and pushed his Sword Dao power to the limit. 55 Sword Dao patterns gushed out and cut through the rapidly surging death aura, not allowing it to get close to him. Because Yi Qinfeng's flying speed was too fast and his attack power was too sharp, he didn't wait for the extreme death energy to fully erupt and form the most lethal attack. Yi Qinfeng rushed out. On the contrary, Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wang, and the others who were chasing after Yi Qinfeng were attacked by the completely erupting death aura. Their flying speed was slowed down again and again, and they were finally trapped in the valley. Damn it, we were tricked by that Yi Qinfeng again. After being trapped in the valley and being attacked by the overwhelming death aura, Yu Zhongtian and the others were so angry that they were about to explode. They roared out in anger out of humiliation. Yu Zhongtian, you guys can enjoy it slowly. Hearing the roars behind him, Yi Qinfeng's mouth curved up slightly and revealed a faint smile. He continued to increase his flying speed and tore apart the rapidly gathering death aura. Soon, he flew out of the valley and saw a pitch-black light wall. That is a Dao treasure shard. After flying under the black light wall, Yi Qinfeng saw two broken pieces embedded in the light wall. They were dark golden shards that looked like the sun and moon. From the Dao intent that these two shards emitted, they should be two Dao treasure shards. Furthermore, their grades weren't low. What are these two Dao treasure fragments suppressing? Yi Qinfeng felt that the two fragments of the Taoist treasure, which looked like the sun and the moon, seemed to be there to suppress this black light wall. He immediately guessed that there must be something extremely ominous in this light wall. However, these two Dao treasure fragments were extremely attractive to Yi Qinfeng. Once the vermilion bird Ding refined these two Dao treasure fragments, there was a high possibility that it would transform into a true Dao treasure, greatly increasing Yi Qinfeng's foundation. In order to increase the grade of the vermilion bird cauldron, Yi Qinfeng decided to break the black light barrier and take the risk of releasing the vicious creature suppressed within. Vermilion bird cauldron, scarlet thunder pearl, break for me! With a thought, Yi Qinfeng summoned the two quasi-Taoist treasures and controlled them to attack the black light wall. He wanted to break the black light wall and devour the fragments of the two great Taoist treasures that looked like the sun and the moon. Rumble! After being attacked by the vermilion bird cauldron and the scarlet thunder pearl, the two great Taoist treasure fragments released the light of the sun and the moon, bombarding the two quasi-Taoist treasures and weakening their attack power. However, the attack power of the vermilion bird cauldron and the scarlet thunder pearl was too strong. After hundreds of fierce attacks, cracks appeared on the black light wall. Waves of powerful demonic aura were released through the cracks of the light wall. What a powerful demonic aura! Could it be that this light wall is suppressing the other body of that demon? Yi Qinfeng raised his eyebrows and summoned the sword puppet. He also lent the Emperor's Sky sword to him to guard against any danger that might appear at any time. That is a praying mantis. As more and more cracks appeared in the black light wall, Yi Qinfeng saw a huge praying mantis shadow through the broken black light wall. It was waving its forelimbs that were as sharp as knives and fiercely attacking the two great Taoist treasure fragments, as well as the light wall's restriction, trying to escape. Under the repeated attacks of the praying mantis shadow, the vermilion bird cauldron, and the scarlet thunder pearl, the two Tao treasure fragments could not withstand the fierce attacks and finally fell off the light wall. The light wall's restriction was also weakened to the extreme. Vermilion bird cauldron, devour! As the two Tao treasure fragments fell off, Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the vermilion bird cauldron to devour the two Tao treasure fragments. Bam! There was a loud explosion. After losing the two Tao treasure fragments, the terrifying demonic aura shattered the light wall. A black praying mantis that was almost 10 meters long, with a triangular head and a pair of abnormally sharp forelimbs, broke free. A level 9 heavenly beast. Boss run. The moment the black praying mantis broke free, the chaos divine beast immediately sensed its true strength. His heart trembled as he quickly reminded, Golden Rock Bloodline Ignite! Yi Qinfeng also sensed the terror of the black praying mantis with the help of the God-Eater brain. He quickly kept the sword puppet into the cosmos realm and ignited the Golden Rock Bloodline again to raise his strength to the peak. He then turned around and fled towards the valley that was filled with a dense aura of death. Human, leave your life behind. When the level 9 heavenly beast, the black praying mantis, realized that the Emperor's Sky Sword was in Yi Qinfeng's hands, it spoke in human language and flapped its thin black wings. It turned into a black stream of light and chased after Yi Qinfeng. At this moment, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wuang and the others were trying their best to tear through the dense aura of death. When they arrived at the end of the valley, they saw Yi Qinfeng fleeing at top speed and the black praying mantis that was flapping its black wings and chasing after him. Sensing the aura of death from the black praying mantis, Yu Zhongtian and the others felt as though they were being targeted by the Grim Reaper. They were scared out of their wits. Without thinking, they followed Yi Qinfeng and fled towards the outside of the valley. At this moment, they no longer wanted to fight with Yi Qinfeng for the great opportunity in the valley. They only wanted to grow a few more legs and wings so that they could escape the black praying mantis's pursuit. Sword-type Tao pattern, Thunder-type Tao pattern, break for me. Sensing that the ferocious black praying mantis was getting closer and closer, Yi Qinfeng constantly controlled the two Tao intents to tear through the surging black aura of death as he fled at top speed. About an hour later, Yi Qinfeng was like a divine sword, tearing through the aura of death in the valley. He flew out and fled towards the northwest of the valley. Immediately after, the faster black praying mantis did not waste any time to kill Yu Zhongtian and the others, who were like birds startled by the twang of a bow. It chased closely after Yi Qinfeng, determined to kill Yi Qinfeng, who possessed the Emperor Heaven Sword. Phew, that was close. Seeing the black praying mantis fly further and further away, Yu Zhongtian heaved a sigh of relief and said with lingering fear, Luckily the black praying mantis's target was not us, but that Yi Qinfeng. Otherwise, even if we had 100 lives, we would not be able to kill that black praying mantis. Zhongtian, that black praying mantis should be a top-tier, level 8 heavenly beast, right? Yu Bingyu took a deep breath and calmed her flustered heart as she asked softly, No, if I did not feel wrongly, that black praying mantis should be a level 9 heavenly beast. Yu Zhongtian shook his head and said, Level 9 heavenly beast, that's equivalent to a level 6 combat beast emperor expert. Yu Bingyu and the others took a deep breath and said in shock, I don't know how that Yi Qinfeng angered that black praying mantis, But with that Yi Qinfeng's strength, if he was chased by a level 9 heavenly beast, he would definitely die. Yu Zhongtian revealed a trace of a cold smile as he gloated. Let's go. It's not good to stay here for long. Let's leave quickly. After saying that, Yu Zhongtian and the others left this extremely strange and unusual valley. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. The next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 6:21. Handan, let's gather all our strength and see if we can kill that black praying mantis. Hashtag. Yi Qinfeng had burned his golden rock bloodline and increased his speed to the maximum, but he still couldn't get rid of the black praying mantis. This made him want to fight to the death. Boss, although this black praying mantis has been suppressed and is not as strong as before, it is still a level 9 heavenly beast. Even if we use all our strength, I'm afraid we won't be its match, the Chaos Divine Beast said helplessly. Not its match. Do I really have to use the Life Spirit spell and burn the last of my water of life? Yi Qinfeng frowned and kept making a decision. However, as his strength increased, he would have to burn more and more of his life force to cast the Life Spirit technique. Yi Qinfeng's water of life could only restore about 2,000 years of life. If he wanted to use the power of life to increase his strength to a whole new level, these 2,000 years of life would only be enough for him to cast the Life Spirit technique once. The Life Spirit spell was his biggest trump card and also his last resort. He didn't want to use it unless he had no other choice. After making a decision, he suppressed the impulse in his heart and continued burning his golden rock bloodline to increase his speed. Human, stop your pointless struggle. You won't be able to escape. The black praying mantis flapped its wings quickly and made a fierce and bloody sound. It kept disturbing Yi Qinfeng and closing the distance between them. Wrath of God's punishment. Seeing that the black praying mantis was close enough to attack, the 3 heavenly items broke out of Yi Qinfeng's body and formed a terrifying wrath of God's punishment. Dense water ripples appeared in the space and bombarded the black praying mantis. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion sounded. Endless energy filled the void, bombarding the black praying mantis's body and slowing down its flying speed. When the black praying mantis used its absolute strength to tear apart the exploding wrath of God's punishment, it realized that Yi Qinfeng had flown far away. This made it furious. It flapped its wings and chased after him. However, the black praying mantis that was repeatedly attacked by the black flame heavenly fire, dual polarity ancient heavenly water, and ancient heavenly thunder was still unable to catch up to Yi Qinfeng. This made it more and more irritable and angry. Yi Qinfeng and the black praying mantis, one chasing the other, traversed the vast expanse of the dragon abyss. As they flew, Yi Qinfeng discovered that a desolate and deathly still burial ground appeared in front of him. His heart thumped as a trace of an ominous premonition arose in his heart. However, he had no way out. He could only bravely move forward and fly into the grave, filled with grave danger. Very soon, a series of bone-chilling cries of ghosts rang out. A large number of ghost soldiers, ghost generals, and ghost beasts appeared from the corpse mound and besieged Yi Qinfeng, who was flying at full speed. Chaos Divine Beasts attack. Besieged by a large number of dead creatures, Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered the Chaos Divine Beast that had recovered to the level of a level 8 heavenly beast to attack. Waves of piercing clouds, cracking rocks, and tearing space were released from Yi Qinfeng's body, directly shattering a large number of dead creatures. Yi Qinfeng was besieged by a large number of dead creatures. The black praying mantis that was chasing after him was also attacked by a large number of dead creatures. However, under the ferocious attack of the black praying mantis, the dead creatures that besieged it were no threat to it. They were continuously killed by its forelimbs that were comparable to a Tao artifact. Black shrine, there is indeed a third black shrine hidden in this corpse mound. Under the attack of the chaos divine beast's roar, Yi Qinfeng broke through the encirclement rapidly for more than an hour. He discovered the third black shrine in the depths of the corpse mound. At this time, the black praying mantis that had been chasing after him also discovered the shrine. Feeling the suppression of the shrine, the black praying mantis' huge compound eyes revealed a hint of fear. Let's go all out. Let's enter the shrine first, and let the sword puppet devour the heaven crystal. Yi Qinfeng made up his mind and flew towards the black shrine without slowing down. Soon, he arrived at the edge of the black shrine. Sword puppet, come out. Looking at the restriction shrouding the black shrine, Yi Qinfeng had a thought and summoned the sword puppet. Together, they attacked the restriction of the black shrine. They wanted to break the restriction by force and enter the black shrine. Roar! The billowing chaos roar, the sky-shattering sword that cut through space, and the sword puppet's shocking slash that turned itself into a sword bombarded the restriction of the black shrine. Kacha! After being hit by 3 consecutive terrifying energy attacks, cracks appeared on the restriction of the black shrine. However, it was not penetrated by the all-out attack of the sword puppet and the chaos divine beast that Yi Qinfeng had gathered. Oh no! After failing to break the restriction of the black shrine, Yi Qinfeng's heart skipped a beat. Without hesitation, he continued to use his powerful Dao techniques to attack the restriction of the black shrine. The black praying mantis that was chasing after Yi Qinfeng had a chance to catch up with him and launch a fatal attack when he failed to break the restriction of the black shrine. However, at this moment, the black praying mantis did not approach Yi Qinfeng. Instead, it flapped its black wings and stopped a few miles behind Yi Qinfeng. It stared at him from afar with its 2 huge compound eyes. Boom! Yi Qinfeng, the chaos divine beast, and the sword puppet launched a powerful attack once again on the restriction of the black shrine that was full of cracks. They finally broke it and entered the towering black shrine that was filled with a powerful suppressive force that devoured spatial light. Phew, that was close. If that black praying mantis had taken the opportunity to attack, we would have been in danger. After narrowly entering the black shrine, the chaos divine beast realized that the black praying mantis did not chase after them. He let out a long sigh of relief and said with lingering fear, "Chaos! Do you think the black praying mantis is afraid of the suppressive force of this black shrine and did not dare to come close? Or did it deliberately let us in?" Although they had shaken off the black praying mantis pursuit for a short time, Yi Qinfeng sensed something unusual and asked in a low voice, "Deliberately let us in? You mean the black praying mantis that was suppressed in the dragon abyss might have a lot to do with that demon. Moreover, this black shrine might be suppressing another body of the demon. Therefore, I have a feeling that the black praying mantis deliberately let us in so that it could release the other body of the demon," Yi Qinfeng guessed. This is indeed possible. However, with that demon's body and the black praying mantis' terrifying strength, they should be able to release the other body of the demon that was suppressed. The chaos divine beast said, "I think these few black shrines should have the power to restrain the demon. Otherwise, when the demonic hand was released, it did not need to follow us and could directly rescue the other suppressed bodies," Yi Qinfeng said with a serious tone. "Then, boss, what do you want to do?" If Yi Qinfeng's analysis was true, then they were in a very delicate and dangerous situation. "Let's bet." "Bet? How?" "Bet that the sword puppet can control everything by swallowing the heaven crystal." Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and said, although he knew that he might lose his life if he lost the bet, the Emperor Heaven Sword was extremely important to him. Furthermore, the Dragon Abyss hid a huge opportunity and a huge secret. Yi Qinfeng could not bear to part with it. Therefore, he decided to bet and let the sword puppet swallow the heaven crystal to continue releasing the suppressed body of the demon. "Let's go in." After saying that, Yi Qinfeng took firm steps and stepped on the black stairs that had experienced the vicissitudes of time. He slowly walked towards the black shrine. When Yi Qinfeng pushed open the heavy doors of the Black Shrine and walked into the Black Shrine that was filled with a powerful suppressive force, the terrifying body of the demon appeared strangely beside the black praying mantis. It silently looked at the Black Shrine that he was afraid of and patiently waited. Tonight, I will post a picture of Shadow. If you want to see it, please add me on WeChat. Ely83 mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 6, 22. A Concealment Array. There is indeed a great demon suppression array hidden within this black divine palace, and the core of this array is the Heaven Crystal and the star-like Emperor Heaven Sword case that is inserted into the soul-controlling monument. At Yen. In order to verify his guess, Yi Qinfeng walked into the Black Shrine and immediately controlled the power of the God-Eater brain to radiate into the shrine to deduce the truth of the entire shrine. Jiang Yi calmly deduced for more than 2 hours, and finally deduced the truth. Regardless of whether it was devouring the Heaven Crystal or fusing with the Emperor's Sky Sword Guard, it would destroy the hidden demon suppression array and create an opportunity for the demonic body to escape. However, Yi Qinfeng knew that he had no other choice. He remained silent in the shrine for a while and adjusted his condition to the best. Then he started to attack the roof of the shrine and exposed the Heaven Crystal that was embedded there. Sword Puppet, devour! After the Heaven Crystal was exposed, Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered the Sword Puppet to devour the Heaven Crystal. As long as the Sword Puppet devoured the Heaven Crystal, its strength should be able to reach the peak of Grade 6 Combat Beast Emperor or even higher. Buzz! 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 While the Sword Puppet was devouring the Heaven Crystal, the hidden demon suppression array in the shrine was activated. A powerful suppressive force surged out from the shrine and suppressed the Sword Puppet. After being attacked by the demon suppression array, the Sword Puppet wasn't affected at all. The devouring force in its body constantly cut off the connection between the Heaven Crystal and the soul-suppressing array. Under the forceful devouring by the Sword Puppet, the power of the soul-suppressing array decreased rapidly. A powerful demonic aura spread out from the black sarcophagus under the soul-suppressing monument and bombarded it. Emperor's Sky Sword fused with the Sword Guard. Just as the Emperor's Sky Sword Guard released a large amount of sword Dao patterns and crushed the demonic aura in the black sarcophagus, Yi Qinfeng took out the Emperor's Sky Sword and threw it towards the Sword Guard embedded in the soul-suppressing monument, allowing them to fuse together. Low-grade Dao artifact. After fusing with the Sword Guard, the Emperor's Sky Sword has indeed recovered to the level of a low-grade Dao artifact. Sensing the increase in sword prowess after the Emperor's Sky Sword fused with the Sword Guard, Yi Qinfeng revealed a rare smile. The improvement of the Emperor's Sky Sword greatly increased his attack power. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Dozens of sword Dao patterns surged out of the Emperor Heaven Sword and attacked the demonic aura that permeated the black stone coffin through the soul-controlling monument. In less than 10 breaths of time, the demonic aura that surged out of the black stone coffin was shredded by the extremely sharp sword Dao patterns. At this time, the restless black sarcophagus suddenly quieted down. However, Yi Qinfeng knew that this was only the eve of the storm. Once the Sword Puppet swallowed the Heaven Crystal and broke the great demon suppression formation, the demonic body in the black sarcophagus would immediately launch a tidal wave of attacks, shattering the soul-suppressing tablet and breaking free. Dragon Bloodlion, Chaos, come out! In order to deal a fatal blow to the demonic body, Yi Qinfeng summoned the 8 heavenly beasts, the Golden Dragon Bloodlion, and the Chaos Divine Beasts. They surrounded the black stone coffin, waiting for the moment the demonic body broke free so they could attack. Time ticked by. After about half an hour, the Sword Puppet successfully cut off the connection between the Heaven Crystal and the Great Demon Suppression Formation and swallowed the Heaven Crystal. Peak of Grade 6 Beast Emperor. The sword puppet has indeed reached the peak of Grade 6 Beast Emperor after swallowing the third heaven crystal. After swallowing the third heaven crystal, the sword puppet's strength kept on increasing. Soon, it surpassed Grade 5 Beast Emperor and stopped at the peak of Grade 6 Beast Emperor. Roar, roar. After the heaven crystal was swallowed by the sword puppet, the power of the great demon suppression formation in the shrine plummeted. A ferocious roar came from the black sarcophagus. The terrifying demonic chi was like a tidal wave, shattering the heavy coffin lid and bombarding the soul-suppressing tablet. Emperor Heaven's Sword, come back! After losing the heaven crystal, the Emperor Heaven's Sword alone wouldn't be able to suppress the demonic body no matter what. Yi Qinfeng didn't make any unnecessary resistance. With a thought, he summoned the Emperor Heaven's Sword back and handed it over to the sword puppet. Kachacha! After losing the Emperor Heaven's Sword, the soul-suppressing tablet's power continued to plummet. The terrifying demonic chi completely seeped into the soul-suppressing tablet, causing cracks to appear on it. Finally, the soul-suppressing tablet and the black sarcophagus shattered together. A pair of powerful demonic legs appeared in front of Yi Qinfeng. Attack! Kill the demonic legs with all your might. The moment the demonic legs broke free, Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet attacked together. They attacked the two demonic legs, wanting to kill the demonic body before it could regenerate. Bloodline of the deity and devil. Body of the deity and devil. Yi Qinfeng burst out with a roar. The strongest bloodline of the deity and devil was ignited. He instantly transformed into the strongest body of the deity and devil. With the king weapon in his hand, he approached the demonic legs. When Mo Ji's legs saw Yi Qinfeng and the others joining forces to attack him, he immediately launched a counterattack. Billowing devil chi gushed out from his legs, gathering at the bottom of his feet. He stomped on the void, forming a gigantic black footprint. Heartless heavenly Tao. The huge amount of demonic chi surged towards Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge. 7 heavenly Tao patterns surged out from his body and transformed into the heavenly Tao prowess. The heavenly Tao patterns smashed onto the black footprint and forcefully resisted the attack. Roar! Roar! The Chaos Divine Beast, Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion, also released a powerful sound wave. It shook the void and heavily smashed onto the black footprint, shattering it. Swish! The moment the black footprint was shattered, the sword puppet slashed out with the Emperor's Sky Sword, leaving a deep sword scar in the void. The sword slashed onto one of the demonic legs and broke through its defense. It left a deep sword scar on the demonic leg, causing a large amount of black demonic blood to flow out. Roar! Lowly humans, you actually dare to injure the saint. This saint will definitely destroy all of you. A ferocious and terrifying roar rang out from Mo Ji's legs. His legs spun at high speed like a top as he stomped on the air, forming afterimages of his legs that shot towards Yi Qinfeng and the others like rainbows piercing through the sun. Facing the leg shadow attack that was enough to shatter an ordinary combat beast emperor expert, the sword puppet didn't dodge. Instead, it rushed in and counterattacked with all its might while shaking the leg shadow attack. Slash! The sword spirit puppet spat out a single word. A beam of mercury-like sword light slashed down, as though the Milky Way was flowing backwards. The sword light tore through the numerous leg shadows and slashed into Mo Ji's legs, injuring him once more. Wrath of divine punishment. When the sword puppet broke apart the demonic leg's attack, the 3 heavenly spirits shot out from Yi Qinfeng's body like the wrath of a divine spirit. They distorted the void and heavily bombarded the demonic legs, worsening the injuries on the legs. Under the relentless attacks of Yi Qinfeng, the sword spirit puppet, and the 2 heavenly beasts, the wounds on Mo Ji's legs grew more and more serious. large amounts of flesh and blood were destroyed, revealing many parts of his bones that were as black as ink. Break! When the demonic legs were heavily injured, the sword puppet ignited the power of the heavenly crystal. Its aura was pushed to the limits as it slashed out with the Emperor's Sky Sword. When the sword slashed down, it was like a flowing river or a mountain pressing down. It directly split the demonic bones, causing the demonic soul in the demonic legs to roar in pain. Lowly humans, you dare to injure my demonic legs? This saint will definitely destroy you all today. At this moment, the heavy door of the shrine was slashed open by two blade-like shadows. The enraged demonic body and the black praying mantis appeared. Sensing that the demonic legs were heavily injured, the demonic body let out an uncontrollable roar. Demonic aura surged out from his body and spread throughout the shrine. Once the demonic body continued to regenerate, the demonic body would be a fatal threat to Yi Qinfeng. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 6, 23. Demon's Body Reassemble. The demon's voice rang out. His leg bones were broken, and his legs, which were riddled with injuries, broke through the obstruction of Yi Qinfeng and the others. They flew towards the demon's body and quickly merged with it. BR, take this opportunity to attack with all your might. When the demon's body was reassembling, Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet, the two heavenly beasts, attacked the demon's body together, wanting to take advantage of the time when it was reassembling to injure it severely. BR, human, I spared your life just now. Now hand over your life. The black praying mantis quickly blocked in front of the demon's body, waved its sharp forelimbs that were comparable to a Tao artifact, and slashed towards Yi Qinfeng and the others. Facing the powerful attack of the black praying mantis, the sword puppet did not dodge and allowed it to slash its body. BR, what kind of body is this? Feeling the rebound force from its forelimbs, the extremely intelligent black praying mantis revealed a look of deep shock. It was shocked by the defensive power of the sword puppet's body. While it was shocked, rolling energy surged into the Emperor's Sky Sword, stimulating the power of the sword guard and increasing the attack power of the Emperor's Sky Sword itself. BR, Chi. The sword puppet stabbed out at close range. The terrifying sword was like a bolt of lightning that cut across the sky. Without waiting for the black praying mantis to make a second reaction, it stabbed into its neck, broke through its defense, and pierced through its neck. A large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably, and the black praying mantis roared in pain, crazily attacking the sword puppet. While the sword puppet and the black praying mantis were fighting fiercely, Yi Qinfeng and the two heavenly beasts approached the reassembling demon's body. The terrifying primal chaos roar and the dragon lion's power bombarded the demon's legs, which were overflowing with demonic energy and continued to worsen the injuries of the legs. Once the demon's legs were destroyed, the demon's body would also be severely injured. At that time, Yi Qinfeng would have a chance to destroy it with the help of the sword puppet's power. BR, 7 swords of judgment, heaven-shattering. 7 killing halos appeared behind Yi Qinfeng. Rolling killing power, close to 25 million pounds of force, as well as the will of the Great Path, were integrated into the ruler armament. With a slash of the sword, the vast power of the way of the sword enveloped the body of the demon, and it was unstoppable. The heaven-breaking sword tore the space apart and slashed at the waist of the devil's body. It forcefully severed the fusion between the devil's legs and the devil's body. It cut the devil's legs, and blood and flesh splattered everywhere. BR, Sky Devil Rope. As the demonic body continued to fuse, the demon burned his blood and chi, and he was already able to use some powerful demonic techniques. 2 pitch-black ghost chains as thick as a child's arm broke out of the demon's body. They were like two awe-inspiring pythons, carrying a powerful destructive force as they attacked Yi Qinfeng and the two heavenly beasts. BR, Xian Ming Extreme Dao Break. As the Sky Devil Rope attacked, Yi Qinfeng immediately integrated the will of the great path that he had comprehended, forming the Xian Extreme Dao power that was illusory and real and bombarded it. The demonic techniques bombarded together and immediately released the terrifying energy contained in each of them. They fiercely repulsed each other in midair. Suddenly, the sound of dense explosions rang out, and the air was distorted and blurred by the fierce collision of energy. Yi Qinfeng relied on the Dao techniques that he had mastered to resist one of the Sky Devil Rope. The Divine Beast of Chaos and the Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion also relied on their powerful demonic powers to resist the other Sky Devil Rope and forcibly broke it apart. BR, Vermilion Bird Cauldron, Suppress. At this time, Yi Qinfeng summoned the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, which was burning with flames, and spat 2 mouthfuls of blood into the cauldron, awakening the soul of the Vermilion Bird. After integrating the 2 fragments of the Tao treasure that suppressed the black praying mantis, the Vermilion Bird Cauldron successfully improved its quality and became a true Tao treasure. Coupled with the amplification of the soul of the Vermilion Bird, the power of the Vermilion Bird Cauldron increased to an extremely terrifying level. BR Rumble. The Vermilion Bird Cauldron, which was constantly growing in size, fell from the sky under the amplification of the soul of the Vermilion Bird. It crushed the heavy air and suppressed the demon's body like Mount Tai. Feeling the destructive power of the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, the demon raised his arms high and pushed it up with all his strength. An earth-shattering power erupted and forcibly held the Vermilion Bird Cauldron that fell from the sky. BR, Scarlet Thunder Bead, Thunder of Death. The moment the Vermilion Bird Cauldron was held by the demon, the Scarlet Thunder Bead flew out of Yi Qinfeng's mouth like a meteor and shot towards the abdomen of the demon's body. In the next moment, endless thunder of death spread out from the Scarlet Thunder Bead and frantically destroyed the demon's body. Although the strength of the constantly reassembling demon's body was far above Yi Qinfeng, he, who had been suppressed for more than 100,000 years, had lost all his treasures and trump cards. In the face of Yi Qinfeng's endless means, he was restrained in every way, and his injuries were constantly worsening. BR, Demon Bloodburn Explode. An angry roar sounded, and the angry demon greatly burned his demon blood. An energy beyond Yi Qinfeng's imagination erupted from the demon's body, like an erupting volcano, fiercely bombarding the Vermilion Bird Cauldron and the Scarlet Thunder Bead, directly blasting the 2 treasures away and sweeping towards Yi Qinfeng and the 2 heavenly beasts. Although Yi Qinfeng and the 2 heavenly beasts dodged in time, their bodies were still hit by the terrible aftershocks, especially the Chaos Divine beast that only had its soul left. It was even more seriously injured. Its fragile soul was full of crisscrossing cracks, and it had no choice but to hide in Yi Qinfeng's body to seek protection. BR, Sky Demon Rope, Seal the Space. After burning his demon blood, the demon possessed an extremely terrifying power in a short period of time. In an instant, 10 Sky Demon Ropes were condensed, and like dancing snakes, they sealed Yi Qinfeng and the Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion's escape space. Just as the demon was about to launch a fatal blow to end the lives of Yi Qinfeng and the Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion, relying on its indestructible body to completely suppress the black praying mantis and destroy its huge body, the sword puppet appeared in a timely manner. A dazzling white battleship soared into the sky as if it wanted to split the sky apart. It slashed the 10 heavenly demon ghost ropes that were sealing the space. It forcefully split the twisting heavenly demon ghost ropes and blocked in front of Yi Qinfeng. BR, boom! The demon launched a fatal blow, and the terrible demon wave that rolled the void fiercely bombarded the body of the sword puppet, causing thousands of huge waves to spread throughout the entire shrine. BR, Kachacha! Under the impact of this terrible storm of destruction, the black shrine shook violently, and a large number of cracks spread in the shrine. An entire shrine was fragmented. With the help of the sword spirit puppet's defense, he blocked the attack of the demon. The black praying mantis, whose neck had been pierced, flew over. It waved its sharp forelimbs and launched an attack towards Yi Qinfeng. The sword puppet could ignore the black praying mantis's attack, but Yi Qinfeng and the Jinqing dragon bloodlion did not dare to face it head-on, and could only rely on their speed to dodge with all their strength. BR, demon flame soaring to the sky. Burning his demon heart, the demon, who had fallen into a violent rage, once again erupted with terrible power. Billowing demon energy was released from his body, like a burning firestorm, sweeping in all directions, determined to kill Yi Qinfeng. BR, puff! Yi Qinfeng and the Jinqing dragon bloodlion, who could not dodge in time, were hit by the firestorm that was like a tidal wave. They spat out a large amount of blood and flew out, and the shattered shrine was also completely destroyed. Just as the demon launched a large-scale attack and severely injured Yi Qinfeng, the sword puppet, who was enduring the firestorm of the demon flame, approached the demon and seized him to launch a fatal attack. While its body was weak, it slashed out an earth-shattering sword. BR, Qi, the extremely sharp Emperor Sky ship, which could cut through all obstacles, slashed the demon's chest fiercely. The sword slashed open his chest and sent him flying out. In the chaos of the fierce battle, Yi Qinfeng and the demon were both injured. This book came from /book/html/30/30709/indextmal. Chapter 6, 24. Battle form. Covered in blood, the severely injured Jinqing dragon blood lion roared and transformed into its strongest battle form. Holding the sky treasure snake spear that Yi Qinfeng had given it, it stabbed at the demon's chest. The black praying mantis flapped its wings and blocked the attack. It waved its forelimbs, which were as strong as Tao treasures, and hacked at the sky treasure snake spear. The powerful force passed through the snake spear and into the arms of the Jinqing dragon bloodlion, causing its arms to bleed. It almost lost its grip on the snake spear. Vermilion bird cauldron, suppress! The Jinqing dragon bloodlion was injured by the black praying mantis. Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the vermilion bird cauldron to descend from the sky and suppress the black praying mantis, forcefully delaying its attack. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng, who was covered in blood, took the risk to approach the black praying mantis. The chaos divine beast hiding in the chaos divine would let out a roar of chaos that pierced through clouds and cracked rocks. It bombarded the black praying mantis's severely injured body and damaged its soul. Hiss, lowly human, I will tear you apart. The black praying mantis, whose body was severely injured and bleeding, let out an angry roar. It waved its sharp forelimbs and hacked at Yi Qinfeng. Wind riding spell. Yi Qinfeng's body flashed and instantly transformed into several wind shadows, dodging the black praying mantis's attack. He controlled the scarlet thunder orb to attack the black praying mantis's relatively weak compound eyes. Rumble. Endless thunder of death was released from the scarlet thunder orb and instantly swallowed the black praying mantis, destroying its compound eyes and body. Attacked by the thunder of death, the furious black praying mantis immediately waved its sharp forelimbs and hacked at the scarlet thunder orb. The powerful force sent the scarlet thunder orb flying. Just as the sword puppet and the demon were engaged in a fierce battle, and the black praying mantis was ferociously attacking Yi Qinfeng and the Jinqing dragon bloodlion, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang, and the others appeared in the gloomy corpse mound and slowly approached the black temple. As expected, they are fighting fiercely together. Looking at the chaotic battle in the distance, the corners of Yu Zhongtian's mouth curled up into a cold smile. He ordered Mo Wang and the rest to lie in ambush in the corpse mound like poisonous snakes, ready to deal a fatal blow to Yi Qinfeng at any moment. The chaotic battle grew more and more intense. Under the ferocious attacks of the sword puppet, the demon's injuries grew more and more severe. Sword wounds that were so deep that one could see his bones were all over his body. Yi Qinfeng and the Jin Qing dragon blood lion had been attacked by the level 9 heavenly beast, the black praying mantis, and had sustained heavy injuries. If not for the fact that Yi Qinfeng had transformed into his fiend god physique and had a body as tough as a supreme heavenly artifact, he would have been killed by the black praying mantis's powerful front limbs. Energy combustion, slash. With the tide-like attacks suppressing the demon, the sword puppet suddenly burned up a large amount of energy. Its entire body fused with the Emperor's celestial sword, turning into a crescent sword arc that was more than 30 meters long. It was like a crescent moon that had descended to the mortal world as it ruthlessly slashed at the demon. Chi. The sound of space being torn apart could be heard. The crescent sword arc of the sword puppet, which had become one with its weapon, broke through the demon's attack and struck his body ruthlessly. The strike sent him flying, leaving behind a sword wound on the demon's body that almost split his body in half. Black praying mantis, go. The demon realized that no matter how he attacked, he could not injure the sword puppet. On the other hand, he was riddled with holes by the tide-like attacks. Helpless, the demon thought of retreating. He summoned back his contracted beast, the black praying mantis, in an attempt to break out of the encirclement and escape. Dual polarity ancient heavenly water, freeze! When Yi Qinfeng saw that the demon was trying to escape, he suppressed his injuries and immediately summoned the dual polarity ancient heavenly water. He froze them, sealing their bodies in ice and slowing down their flying speed. Yi Qinfeng wanted to take advantage of the demon's injuries to eliminate him. He wanted to eliminate this greatest threat. Demon blood ignite, demon flames soar to the sky. Faced with Yi Qinfeng, the sword puppet, and the golden dragon blood lion's combined efforts to stop him, the wounded demon was enraged. He continued to ignite his demon blood at all costs, forming a destructive storm that swept towards Yi Qinfeng. Crescent sword slash. 7 swords of judgment, sky shatter, dragon lion strength. Faced with the attack of the demon's burning demon blood, Yi Qinfeng, the sword puppet, and the golden dragon blood lion did not dodge. Instead, they all used their strongest killing moves to meet the attack. The 3 terrifying attacks gathered together and turned into a ferocious dragon that was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. It swept across the void and rushed into the storm of demon flames, tearing it apart crazily. Several terrifying energies clashed fiercely in midair. A terrifying explosion resounded across the horizon. Endless destructive energy spread out in a radius of 1,000 meters, directly shattering the seals outside the shrine and destroying everything. Sword puppet, destroy the demon's body. Yi Qinfeng, who was relying on his physical body, which was comparable to a supreme heaven artifact, to endure the aftershocks of the annihilation storm. His blood and qi churned, and his injuries worsened. He ordered the sword spirit puppet to forcefully pass through the annihilation storm and launch a fatal attack on the devil, who was even more heavily injured, to destroy him in one fell swoop. Whoosh! The sword puppet fused with the Empyrean Heaven sword and was like a divine sword. It broke through the storm of destruction and approached the demon at an extremely fast speed, attacking him with all its might. Something's not right. The moment the sword puppet rushed into the storm of destruction, Yi Qinfeng's sharp senses suddenly detected danger. Without thinking, he sent the severely injured golden dragon blood lion into the heaven and earth mirror and used the wind-riding art to dodge. The moment he dodged, several terrifying Dao techniques blasted over and bombarded the space that Yi Qinfeng was in. The terrifying attacks caused the space to distort. Yi Qinfeng, who was severely injured and had expended a lot of energy, looked at the people who had ambushed him. His face instantly darkened. He had not expected that Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wu Wang, and company would ambush him while he and the demon were both severely injured. Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wu Wang, Do you know what you are doing? Yi Qinfeng said angrily. Do you know that if you don't get rid of that demon, you will all be killed by him? You don't have to worry about that. You only need to know that this day next year will be the anniversary of your death. Yu Zhongtian's eyes were filled with thick killing intent as he said this. Compared to the demon, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang felt that Yi Qinfeng was more of a threat to them. As for the demon's threat, they did not care too much. As long as they could kill Yi Qinfeng and take everything he had, they would immediately find place to hide until the dragon abyss closed and leave this place. Don't waste time with him. Let's kill him while he's heavily injured. Mo Qinshin held the sky spear in his hand and said with high battle intent. As he said this, Mo Wang, Yu Zhongtian, and company released their powerful auras and locked onto Yi Qinfeng. They wanted to kill him while he was heavily injured. Good. Today, I want to see if I'll die or you guys. Faced with adversity and heavily injured, Yi Qinfeng did not panic in the slightest. His battle intent surged as he roared, like a war god bathed in blood, holding a king weapon. He looked down on the Yu family and the top geniuses of the Western continent and fought with them. The photo has been posted. Add me on WeChat. Ely83 mobile reading site. This book's address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 6:25 Blood Skull. Ancient Compass. Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang both summoned their powerful heavenly treasures and attacked Yi Qinfeng from both sides, forcefully restricting his movements. Scarlet Thunder Pearl, break for me. As the two heavenly treasures approached, Yi Qinfeng decisively controlled the Scarlet Thunder Pearl to meet them head-on. Boundless thunder of death was released from the Scarlet Thunder Pearl, bombarding the two heavenly treasures fiercely, preventing them from getting close to him. Heavenly treasure, demonic needle. The moment the Scarlet Thunder Pearl blocked the attacks of the two heavenly treasures, Yu Bingyu flicked her finger, and an extremely sharp demonic needle as thin as a cow's hair forcefully broke through the thunder of death, shooting towards Yi Qinfeng's forehead at a speed that was indiscernible to the naked eye. The attack of the heavenly treasure demonic needle was extremely fast, but Yi Qinfeng's reaction was even faster. He quickly stretched out two fingers and caught the demonic needle, imprisoning it in midair. Tao of Darkness Spear. As Yi Qinfeng broke through the attacks of the three heavenly treasures, Mo Qinshin suddenly appeared behind him, his entire arm fused with the extreme sky spear. The Tao of Darkness and Tao of Shadow revolved around the tip of the spear, piercing towards Yi Qinfeng with a terrifying aura, wanting to pierce through his back. Handan attack. Yi Qinfeng had suffered heavy injuries from the fierce battle with Devil and the Black Praying Mantis. His strength had been greatly reduced, and he was unable to free himself from the fierce attacks of Yu Zhongtian and the others. He could only order the Chaos Divine Beast to attack. Roar. The Divine Beast of Chaos let out a terrifying roar. Like a surging tide, it slammed heavily against Mo Qinshin, who was rapidly approaching. Although the Chaos Divine Beast was heavily injured and could not unleash its strongest attack, it was still a level 8 heavenly beast, and its chaotic roar was not something a half-step Beast Emperor could withstand. However, Mo Qinshin did not dodge the attack. Instead, he used the Tao of Darkness spear to charge forward, piercing into the chaotic roar. Qi. The sound of space tearing rang out as the Tao of Darkness spear Mo Qinshin used tore through the chaotic roar. What? Yi Qinfeng raised an eyebrow, a look of shock on his face. He was shocked that Mo Qinshin, who had always kept a low profile, had managed to tear apart the primal chaos roar with his own strength. Pooh! Yi Qinfeng's back was pierced by Mo Qinshin's spear. The terrifying power of the spear broke through Yi Qinfeng's defense and pierced through his body, causing a large amount of blood to flow out. Great Demon, slaying Dragon Blade. Even as Yi Qinfeng was injured by Mo Qianxin's attack, Mo Fuang leaped into the air and infused his heavenly devil Dao weapon with his soul power. He slashed out a devilish, dragon-like saber light that swept everything in its path toward Yi Qinfeng. Boom! Yi Qinfeng, whose back was injured, didn't face Mo Fuang's Dao-ranked weapon head-on. Instead, he tried his best to dodge. But at this time, Yu Bingyu and Yu Zhongtian appeared on his left and right sides. They formed a middle-level Dao skill, Ghost Deity Claw, and sealed off his escape route. With nowhere to run, Yi Qinfeng gritted his teeth and burned a large amount of his blood essence, forcefully raising his strength to meet the attack head-on. Heartless Heavenly Dao. Dark Extreme Dao. 7 Heavenly Dao runes manifested the might of the Heavenly Dao. Multiple Dao intents formed the Dark Extreme Dao force and bombarded the devilish, dragon-like, Great Demon, slaying Dragon Blade. Rumble. The 3 powerful attacks collided and immediately formed a terrifying shockwave that violently exploded in midair. Yi Qinfeng used his Dao intents to forcefully block the Great Demon, slaying Dragon Blade. The 2 Ghost Deity Claws that sealed off his escape route viciously grabbed his body and began to destroy it. Mo Qianxin, who had just injured Yi Qinfeng, continued to stab forward. Streaks of lightning-like spear light enveloped Yi Qinfeng, tearing apart his defenses and worsening his injuries. Under the ferocious attacks of Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuwang, and the other 3, Yi Qinfeng's injuries worsened. Unable to support the god-demon body, he reverted to his original form. At this moment, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu transformed into their strongest beast soul form, exerting all their strength to pressure him, wanting to kill him in one fell swoop. Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, Chaos Divine Beast, Space Swallower, Spiritual Fish, come out and help me. Yi Qinfeng had no choice but to summon the heavily injured Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, Chaos Divine Beast, Space Swallower, and Spiritual Fish, who had just become a Class 4 Beast King, to help him fend off the enemies. Big Brother Yi, are you all right? Seeing Yi Qinfeng covered in blood and severely injured, Spiritual Fish's heart tightened. I'm fine. Let's deal with them first. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and drank a mouthful of heavenly fate water to recover his expended soul power as he spoke with a dark look in his eyes. All right. Spiritual Fish nodded and decisively ignited her godly ape bloodline, transforming into a golden-eyed, godly ape. A violent aura gushed out from her body. Godly beast body. Seeing Spiritual Fish transform into a godly ape, Yu Zhongtian and the others were astonished. However, they did not slow down their attacks and attacked Yi Qinfeng with all their might. Spiritual Fish and the 3 heavenly beasts were determined to kill them all. At the same time, the sword puppet, demon, and black praying mantis's battle had also reached its climax. Fierce energy filled the air. When Demon discovered that Yu Zhongtian and the others had actually attacked Yi Qinfeng at this moment, he was overjoyed. He and the black praying mantis continued to tangle with the sword spirit puppet, not giving him a chance to rescue Yi Qinfeng. Pooh! After fighting for half an hour, Spiritual Fish, who was in the midst of the destructive storm, could no longer withstand the fierce attacks of Yu Zhongtian and the others. She was struck in the chest by Yu Bingyu's silent millstone. She spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground, heavily injured. Go to hell! When Spiritual Fish was injured, Mo Qianxin immediately stabbed his spear at Spiritual Fish's head. He wanted to pierce through her head and end her life. Heaven and Earth Mirror, keep! At the critical moment, Yi Qinfeng, who was enduring the fierce attacks, controlled the Heaven and Earth Mirror to keep the severely injured Spiritual Fish, causing Mo Qianxin's spear to miss. Spiritual Fish had just escaped, and the Space Swallower, which was not strong, was also heavily injured. Yi Qinfeng teleported them into the heaven and earth mirror in time to protect them. Boss, the situation is not good. Quickly summon your sword puppet back. We will kill our way out. The Chaos Divine Beast, who was heavily injured and could not resist, transmitted his voice. All of you, return to the heaven and earth mirror. Leave them to me. Yi Qinfeng's eyes flashed with killing intent. He decided to use his final trump card, the Life Spirit technique. The reason why he made this decision was because he was too heavily injured and the sword puppet had used up too much energy. Even if he tried to force his way out, he would definitely be hunted down and would not be able to escape the dangerous situation. Instead of that, it was better to use the Life Spirit technique and kill Yu Zhongtian and the others. Then, he would have complete control of his own fate. Keep. With a thought, Yi Qinfeng kept the severely injured Chaos Divine Beast, the golden clear Dragon Bloodlion, into the heaven and earth mirror. Yi Qinfeng, don't struggle in vain. You will definitely die today. When Yu Zhongtian saw Yi Qinfeng keeping the Chaos Divine Beast, the golden clear Dragon Bloodlion, he thought that Yi Qinfeng was at his wit's end. He revealed a cold expression and said with killing intent, "We don't know who will die yet." Life Spirit technique, life burn. Yi Qinfeng roared and used the Life Spirit technique to burn 2,000 years of his life. A life force that terrified Yu Zhongtian and the others erupted from his body. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng used the life force to continuously increase his strength. In the blink of an eye, Yi Qinfeng rose from a level 4 Defiant Beast King to a level 3 Combat Beast Emperor. The aura that leaked from his body made Yu Zhongtian and the others feel suffocated and hopeless. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.